It's Tuesday, May 12th. Today, the dangers that lurk on the internet. A U.S. man charged in a troubling child luring case, how it happened, and what you can do to protect your kids. Also today, some unwanted activity, why Steinbach's Library is looking to add new security measures while trying to remain as accessible as possible. Plus, the last student standing, a grade 12 tradition involving toy water guns, is prompting safety warnings. What is the senior assassin game and why it comes with concerns from police? Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Tuesday. It is 6 o'clock. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Now, Asa McPhail is with Alzheimer's Manitoba. They're going to tell us about their upcoming walk. Of course, we know that many families are touched by Alzheimer's or dementia in some way, and we know the stats show that by 2050, the numbers are expected to double as well in this country. So we're going to find out a little bit more on what the walk is about, why it's so important to support it, and if you are getting a new diagnosis in your family, where you can find resources and programming to support you and your family. But the weather yesterday was, well, first of all, this morning waking up, I could hear that rumbling. Yeah, it was wild.
Did you get any rain?
No rain. It was dry, but it was rumbling.
Yeah, no, I heard the rumbles too, and I said to my husband, I was like, oh, I left the patio cushions outside. And Rochelle, he went in the middle of the night and he collected them. They were still dry. And then when I came out this morning, the streets, the sidewalks, they were wet. So yes, those patio cushions were collected just in time. Pays to get married. All right, 6 degrees right now. We've got winds. They're out of the north-northwest, 26 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling. The humidity sitting at 78%. Honestly, if I had just been solo, I would have been like, listen, my cushions are going to get wet. I am not getting up in the middle of the night. Well, this is what rolled through last night. There you can see still lingering a little bit right over Winnipeg, but over the southeast, northwestern Ontario, things looking far more active, in fact, just off to the east. And then some clearing behind it, so we will be seeing some very beautiful conditions throughout the day, but there is still the possibility of a little bit of precipitation first thing. And for anybody really along this eastern border, western Manitoba, quite clear, and we'll all see that clearing as the day goes on, so plenty more sunshine to come. But yes, these winds, they're going to be a nuisance once again. Temperature-wise, quite similar to where we were yesterday in those mid to high teens, just shy of seasonal, but we will still see temperatures warming up over the next couple of days, and the conditions looking pretty good. Not until later this week. I think it's going to be maybe Thursday that we have a possibility of some precipitation, certainly a few more clouds, and then that chance of showers overnight. It's kind of nice when the showers fall overnight as they did this past night, because it sets us up for sunshine through the day, and we still get that soaking that we need.
Thank you, Terry. A disturbing cross-border investigation has resulted in charges against an American who is accused of luring a 10-year-old girl from Manitoba. What began as interactions on social media moved over to text messages. CTV's Alex Karpa on the surge in luring cases.
A 32-year-old Ohio man is facing charges after allegedly grooming a 10-year-old Manitoba girl online and convincing her to send sexually explicit images and videos. Investigators say Courtney Arden Wise III posed as a teenager and communicated first with the girl through social media before shifting to direct text messages.
This incident was a terrible reminder of the dangers that lurk on the internet, especially for children and teenagers.
Wise III was arrested in February in Ohio, where police seized electronic devices allegedly containing the messages exchanged with the girl. He's facing several charges, including sexual exploitation of a child.
We encourage parents and caregivers to educate their children on how to stay safe online.
Lindsay Lobb with the Canadian Centre for Child Protection says the organization receives similar reports to this case every day through their national tip line on cybertip.ca. She said reports related to the online luring have risen from 750 reports in 2020 to more than 3,300 this past year.
What we know is that much of this is attributed to adults being allowed to intersect with children in largely unregulated spaces.
Tech experts say parents should always know what tools or platforms their children are using.
And that doesn't just include classic tools like social media apps and artificial intelligence. Increasingly, it can also include gaming platforms or even music platforms that incorporate social media features into them.
U.S. investigators believe the suspect may have targeted other children, and the investigation is still ongoing. RCMP did confirm that Wise III is not facing any charges here in Canada. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Need your help tracking down a suspect in a home invasion in River Park South. It happened on the morning of April 2nd in the 100 block of Alberg Drive. Police say a woman identified herself as a police officer before pushing past the homeowner and trying to steal something from the home's entranceway. Ultimately, the woman was unsuccessful and no one was injured. Investigators say she drove off in a gray or silver Chevy Cobalt and was accompanied by a second vehicle, a blue Hyundai Palisade. Anyone with information or video footage is asked to contact the Major Crimes Unit or Crime Stoppers. A chaotic shooting incident unfolded Monday on a major street near Boston. A gunman randomly opened fire on vehicles in his path. A bullet hole visibly shattered a postal truck windshield, while other cars are seen pushed against trees. 2 drivers were critically injured. Police eventually arrested the suspect and took him into custody. All of the passengers are now off of the cruise ship that's been dealing with a hantavirus outbreak. The ship's captain released this video praising both the passengers and his crew. Since leaving the ship, an American, French, and Spanish citizen have all tested positive. They remain in isolation in their home countries. That brings the number of confirmed cases to 7. So far, 3 passengers have died, 2 of whom were confirmed to have had the virus. And now more than 20 countries are working to contain the spread. That includes Canada, where 4 people are isolating in BC.
We are all hoping that the 4 people who are here with us will remain well through this incubation period, but this is exactly why we are taking the precautions and why plans are in place should their conditions change.
4 Canadians are isolating for at least 21 days in Victoria and are not showing symptoms. British Columbia's provincial health officer says none of them had any known direct contact with anyone infected on the ship. The Public Health Agency of Canada says a person in Quebec has stopped isolating because they are no longer considered a high-risk contact. In Ontario, 2 people are currently isolating, and a 3rd person is now self-isolating in Peel Region near Toronto. Officials say they had contact with a confirmed case and are a visitor to Canada, not a resident. Remember that motorcycle crash in BC we showed you yesterday? Well, it got people talking because at first glance, it seems impossible.
Kind of car it was and the way the fender was shaped. And of course, you know, the front tire of a motorcycle being as rounded as it is, it was just a perfect storm and geometry just kind of launched it up.
We now have video of what happened. You can see a car making a left-hand turn. Then the motorcycle enters the frame up on one wheel as the riders appear to hit the brakes before colliding with the car. The motorcycle then launches into the air and hooks onto the lights above. Police are still trying to reconstruct the crash to fully understand what happened. They say the rider is expected to survive, but experts and instructors are hoping the crash acts as a reminder, especially to riders, about the importance of defensive training and to drivers to stay alert as motorcycle season officially gets underway. Thousands of union leaders, workers, and activists are gathering in Winnipeg this week. The Canadian Labour Congress opened its 31st triennial constitutional convention Monday, the first time it's been held here in Winnipeg in the past 40 years. From now through Friday, delegates will participate in panel discussions and hear from guest speakers on democracy, workers' rights, and the economy. Speakers include union and business leaders, politicians, and more.
This is when Canada's unions bring delegates together and we discuss the most important issues, and it really sets the tone of what we're going to prioritize over the next 3 years.
The Congress's executive vice president says much of the talk surrounds what's happening in the world, including tariffs, job security, and healthcare. The Canadian Labour Congress is Canada's largest labour organization and represents more than 3 million workers across the country. You'll be delighted to see who fetches the bats for this minor league ball club every time a player gets on base.
She is a big star here. Every time she goes out, especially the first time of the night, she gets a huge cheer from our fans.
Omaha is the biggest star on the single-A Lake Elsinore Storm, and she's beloved by fans. They also claim she's the only bat dog for a pro baseball team on the U.S. West Coast. Even better, after most games, she also does a meet and greet with fans, posing for pictures and shaking a paw with whoever asks. Very sweet. Here's a look at what's happening now. Traffic starting off this Tuesday morning at Kenaston and Sterling Lion Way. Looks like a good start so far. If you see any issues out there, please send us a text to let us know. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail. We're talking about Alzheimer's Society and an upcoming walk. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning. It's happening on May 30th at 10 a.m. at Assiniboine Park. So if you want to attend, earmark that date for sure. And this is about the over 20,000 Manitobans who are dealing with Alzheimer's. And if you think, if Winnipeg City is just under 1 million people and over 20,000 people, it truly is unfathomable to know how many people and their families are going through this. And there is support at Alzheimer's Society Manitoba. A walk like this is more than just a walk because it allows people and their caregivers to connect, to share those stories, and to honor people who have been lost. We're also going to be learning about some of the programs. Of course, they've got counseling, they've got dementia-friendly communities, which allows for businesses and other agencies to create an accommodating space for these individuals, and there's support groups too. Stay with us for more.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. The rain has stopped for now. How's it feeling out there?
A little bit cool, mostly windy. That's the big thing that I noticed. I step out here and I'm like, oh, those winds. I know, what a nuisance they can be. But the rain has stopped, and honestly, one of my favorite things is when it rains overnight and we get all the benefits of it, a nice solid soaking, the streets get washed, all of that, and then we still get a very pleasant day to enjoy if it weren't for those winds. Ugh. Anyway, 7 degrees is where we begin right now. A few clouds still hanging over us. They will be clearing as the day goes on, but those winds, they're out of the north-northwest. There they are, gusting to 53 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 75%. I full out feel like that was a watch your mouth, Terry, and a little something from Mother Nature. All right, we got the winds. Okay, we'll just deal with them, perhaps. We will have to deal with them because throughout the day they could at times be gusting to 60 kilometers per hour. There's still the possibility of some morning showers as long as these heavier clouds are hanging over us. Later today, they'll clear out. We'll get plenty of sunshine to enjoy. Really nice temperatures, not quite seasonal. 19 is normal. We'll probably top out at about 17, very similar to yesterday. But unlike yesterday, where the rain moved in the afternoon and it clouded over, today we got the clouds and the possible showers this morning, and then clearing later today. Plenty of sunshine to come. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
Good morning. A former hockey coach who admitted to sexually assaulting a teen player has been sentenced to 6 years in prison. Madison Billick had an inappropriate sexual relationship with a girl between 2019 and 2021. Billick initially faced 15 charges and pled guilty to luring and sexual assault. She was in her 20s at the time of the offenses, which started when the victim was just 15. Provincial Court Judge Jerry Lee Ryle says Billick used her authority and influence to groom the player. The judge says Billick caused emotional and psychological harm, and the ripple effects continue. Security measures are being considered at Steinbach Public Library. Officials say illegal activity is being conducted in bathrooms, and the library was forced to close when staff found drug paraphernalia in a reading corner. A fight even broke out between guests at a Christmas event for children. CTV's Jeff Keel now on the short and long-term solutions the library hopes will close the book on the safety issues for good.
Carol Minty says visiting the Jacob Library in Steinbach is like going home.
I was a teacher librarian, so that's where you go when you're looking for your happy spot.
But recently, Minty's noticed some unwanted activity at that happy spot.
Foolishness, things that shouldn't be happening in a library, you know.
Library Director Aubrey Walker says off and on they've been dealing with some safety incidents, including people engaging in illegal activity. Drug paraphernalia has been found, and some even had weapons in their bags. The most unsettling was a scuffle between two patrons.
Well, that one was in December, right during our Santa Day, when we have a bunch of children in the library, which is not ideal.
So they instituted some temporary security measures. The bathrooms were locked, bags had to be checked in, and this reading corner was closed because staff couldn't always monitor what was going on.
It just wasn't being utilized correctly, and we found that was a space where we would find things after the fact.
The bathrooms are now open and there are no more bag checks as things have calmed down. Still, Walker says they need a long-term solution. She says a security guard, even metal detectors can't be ruled out, but they're looking for the least intrusive plan. They want a security camera system installed first to see if that's enough.
We need security cameras in here that will help us see what's actually going on when we can't be there. Because people get really good at hiding things when you start walking around.
Steinbach Mayor Earl Funk says the city might be able to help once provincial grant money for safety upgrades becomes available.
So once we know what we need to do in order to access that money, then we'll go down those avenues to get it done.
Carol Minty believes cameras would assist the staff.
Because it will keep them going, and we want to keep our library going. This is the heart of the community.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Steinbach.
U.S. President Donald Trump says the Iran ceasefire is on massive life support.
I would call it the weakest right now. After reading that piece of garbage they sent us, I didn't even finish reading it. They said, I'm not going to waste my time reading it.
President Trump has rejected Iran's counter-proposal to end the war. Iran was said to be demanding recognition of sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, compensation for war damages, and the end of fighting on all fronts, including in Lebanon. President Trump also accused Iran of going back on an agreement to hand over enriched uranium. Iran has called its proposal responsible and generous, with oil prices up this morning. President Trump may suspend the federal gas tax.
Wouldn't we take the opportunity to give working people some relief?
People are having a hard time driving to work.
Well, Trump now says he is willing to suspend the tax, which costs drivers 18.4 cents a gallon, but he can't do it on his own. Congress needs to approve it. Some lawmakers from both parties have shown support. Others say it would be simpler to just end the war. Today is the last day to submit your census. Well, sort of, anyway. StatsCan says today is more of a reference date than a cutoff. People who haven't filled out their forms will be reminded to do it through letters, calls, and even in-person visits. If the form still isn't handed in after all of that, there could be a $500 fine. The census is sent out every 5 years. Information collected is used to make policy decisions and to decide how money is spent. If you've ever thought of adding hotelier to your resume, here's your chance. The iconic Fort Garry Hotel is hitting the market. The Chateau-style 13-story building opened in 1913 by Grand Trunk Pacific Railway. It was designated as a National Historic Site in 1981. According to the listing on the Avazon Young website, the property boasts over 60,000 square feet of meeting, spa, and fitness space and includes 236 suites and restaurants.
When you're looking at an iconic asset like this, 100 years old, they're irreplaceable. And so it's interesting when you try and look at all the various components that drive revenue at an asset like this. No one's building them like this.
As for the price tag, well, that's yet to be determined, but rest assured it won't be cheap. Miners in Myanmar have discovered a truly enormous ruby. It's thought to be the second largest by weight ever found in the country. It weighs 4.8 pounds and is 11,000 carats. Myanmar produces about 90% of the world's rubies. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. On Main Street, the northbound middle lane will be closed between Euclid and Selkirk Avenue. The southbound curb lane on Furby Street will be closed from Portage to Broadway. And on Aaron Street, the southbound curb lane will be closed between Wolliver and Portage. If you have any other traffic tips to share with us, please send us a text.
Looking now through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. Once again, those cameras will be shaken away. Winds will be strong. Those dark, ominous-looking clouds already brought some precipitation in the overnight hours and still could bring a little more through the morning hours before they clear out, making way for sunshine. But those extra clouds that brought the precipitation also trapped some of that warmth from yesterday, and so we're waking up to above seasonal temperatures. 5 degrees would be a normal low. We're starting out at 7 here in Winnipeg. Portage joining us there. 8 at the moment in the Morden-Winkler area. Over in Brandon, 6 degrees, and these mid-single digits or low single digits through central Manitoba, but on the plus side of freezing right up into the north. Everybody above the freezing mark so far this morning. Now, we, like I said, still could see a little bit of precipitation, but this system is already starting to push off to the east. And as it does, we'll see some clearing, so increasing amounts of sunshine to come. But still with these very strong winds, they'll be hanging around throughout the day today. 7 degrees expected as kids get into the classroom today. And like I said, still that chance of showers, but sun starting to peek out through midday, up to 14 degrees through the lunch hour, 16 by the time kids are coming home from school. And by then, mostly sunny conditions. 17 are expected high with that clearing on the way. Now, it warms up still over the next couple of days, up into those low to mid 20s. Very pleasant, right ahead of a cool down, and that cool down, unfortunately, is timed out for May long. So we'll see these temperatures dropping off. Conditions not terrible. We will at least enjoy some sunshine on Saturday before another round of precipitation, which will be needed. giving the streets a little bit of a washing, but those cooler temperatures expected to last right throughout the weekend. Woody is what this little one has been named by Sandra, whose yard he, I don't know if that's, I think it's a boy because they're so colorful. Anyway, Woody showed up and Sandra snapped the picture. Keep the photos coming to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca. We'll see you right after this.
Good morning. It's grad season. Churchill High School is bringing together the class of 1976 to mark its 50th anniversary. But it's not just about reminiscing of days gone by. As CTV's Joseph Bernacki shows you, the alumni plan to help out future students.
Here's Lane, Laura, Timmer, Kopitz, Doug.
As they step back in time, looking at their yearbook from Churchill High School's graduating class of 76, 50-year-old memories come flooding back for Teresa Garside and Martino Vergata.
Well, I do remember we were making hundreds of tissue paper flowers to decorate the cars in those days for graduation.
The student body was amazing. Again, lots of sports, lots of studies together. Semantics, of course, it's high school.
Garside, Vergata, and a number of Bulldogs alumni from their class got together 3 years ago to start planning a 50th anniversary reunion. On June 12th, a majority of the 155 graduates aim to reunite at the Gates on Roblin for a special evening. But it's not just reminiscing and seeing how people ended up. They are launching an annual scholarship in honor of the class of 76.
And it rewards a student who exemplifies kindness, compassion, and community spirit.
Called the Golden Bulldog Award, or Goldie for short, this statue will be given to recipients. It was made by a classmate now living in British Columbia. An endowment fund has been created with generous support from beyond the class.
We felt it was important just to leave a legacy of who we were, because it was an amazing, still is an amazing graduating class. You want to leave a legacy. You want to leave something besides just a name.
Garside says her friendship with Vergata started when they were 12. It's been difficult to reach everyone from their class. Of the 155, she estimates 20 have passed on, leaving about 40 people they are hoping to reconnect with ahead of the event.
Part of organizing this, I've kind of reacquainted myself with people that I didn't necessarily even have conversations with in high school, but there's a bond there that's intangible.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
In Sweden, a cafe is being run by AI.
I was wondering why you don't have any bread today.
Oh, out of bread? That's not good. Unfortunately, I can't fix that right now from here, but I'll let the staff on site know immediately.
It's in charge of overseeing almost every aspect of the business, from hiring staff to managing inventory. The AI agent was tasked with setting up electricity and internet and securing permits for food handling. It's an experiment to explore how AI might be used in the future, but those behind it say there were a lot of mistakes. They say the agent is placing orders for things they don't need, like tomatoes, 6,000 napkins, and more than enough first aid kits. Wake up and win with CTV Your Morning and Manitoba Blue Cross. We can pay your bills with a massive $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is expense. Head to the contest page at ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter expense with your info for your chance to win the Your Morning $20,000 Pay Your Bills contest. Brought to you by Manitoba Blue Cross, your local trusted health benefits provider. Good luck.
Seven degrees with a few extra clouds. They won't be hanging around all day, though. They might first bring a couple of showers before they clear. And those winds are noticeable out of the north-northwest, gusting to 53 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, humidity sitting at 75%. Mild start to the day, slightly above seasonal, but yeah, it looks a little bit gloomy and gray with that activity from what was passing through last night. Still lingering a little bit through the southeastern corner of the province. The bulk of it has moved off into northwestern Ontario. You can see it's far more active with the yellows, oranges, reds. Into northern Manitoba, you might also notice a little bit of precipitation. It just never reads on the satellite image, but clearer along that western border, and many of us will see that clearing as the day goes on. So just waiting for the sunshine and the warmth that comes with it, up to 17 degrees. Very similar to where we got to yesterday, and very similar to yesterday, we'll still be dealing with that wind out of the southeast. At times could be gusting to 60 kilometers per hour. Once it clears this afternoon, those conditions remaining in place overnight as we drop down to 6, and those winds tapering in the overnight hours, shifting somewhat for tomorrow. It'll be a south wind, so from that light west wind overnight, a south wind tomorrow, but not an intense wind. We can keep our fingers crossed that they stay on the light to moderate side. 24 degrees, that'll be very pleasant, especially if we do it without that wind. So middle of the week is when we're going to experience our warmest temperatures. Thursday as well, into those mid-20s and slightly above the seasonal 19 degrees. But there is the chance of some showers moving through overnight then, and after that those temperatures cooling somewhat and staying below seasonal with some soggy patches as we're looking ahead through May long.
A Winnipeg nurse has been suspended and fined after a critically ill patient died in her care at Grace Hospital in 2022. Tammy Wolf pleaded guilty last year to multiple charges brought by the College of Registered Nurses of Manitoba over professional misconduct. An inquiry committee found multiple instances of misconduct which occurred during a single 12-hour shift when Wolf was responsible for a 68-year-old patient who was admitted days earlier for worsening shortness of breath. Among those was noting the patient was lethargic and confused. While writing on another form, they were alert. A correct assessment would have required notifying a physician and possibly a move to a higher level of care. In another instance, Wolf recorded a dose of an opioid was withheld because of the patient's reduced level of consciousness, but never consulted a physician or explained the change in the person's condition. She was suspended for 3 weeks, ordered to pay $8,000, and must also complete several courses, including medication management and critical thinking. A man has now pleaded guilty to human smuggling after a family of 4 died while crossing into the U.S. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, Timothy Oakes is a dual U.S.-Canadian citizen. They say he was a key facilitator in the operation. He earned about $1,000 for every migrant he smuggled into the U.S. He pleaded guilty Monday to several charges, including 4 counts of alien smuggling resulting in death. That's in relation to a family of 4 Romanian nationals, including 2 children under the age of 3. They were put on a boat in 2023 and were headed across the St. Lawrence River toward the U.S. border when the boat capsized during severe weather. Oakes now faces a minimum of 5 years behind bars and a maximum penalty of life in prison. The CEO of Toronto's Pearson Airport says a massive renovation project will result in fewer delays and smoother travel.
You'll often find the pilot saying, okay, we're sitting here waiting for a gate. So we're going to have expanded airfield parking aprons and aircraft positions and a high-speed taxiway that moves airplanes faster onto and off the runway.
Officials broke ground on a 10-year modernization project yesterday. Phase 1 will cost $3 billion. Other promises include fewer baggage disruptions, runway and airfield upgrades could help move 28,000 more passengers a day. Government officials also say the project will create tens of thousands of new jobs. They're also promising there won't be extra delays during construction. Doctors in the U.S. have released new guidelines around recess. This is the first new guidance in 13 years from the American Academy of Pediatrics. The update says recess helps students build relationships, boost confidence, and retain what they learn in class. That's why they should be protected and never withheld. In the last 20 years, up to 40% of schools in the U.S. have reduced or eliminated recess. If you see high school kids running around with swimming goggles and toy water guns, don't be alarmed. It's called Senior Assassin, a worldwide game played by grade 12 students trying to have a last hurrah before grad. And as CTV's Harrison Shin shows you, both schools and police are advising them to stay safe.
These are the 007s of Kelvin High School. The grade 12 students have been playing something called Senior Assassin.
It's about like bringing everyone together and making sure that we're all one like whole class before we graduate, becoming friends with people you weren't friends with before, talking to kids you haven't talked to, just like, it's really about bringing people together, you know, a community-based game.
Using an app called Splashin', for a month, grade 12 students are tasked to spray their fellow senior students with a water gun. In Kelvin High School's case, assassins pay $5 to enter, building up to around a $700 grand prize for the last one standing.
I go out with my friends and we just have a good time going around, driving around the city, trying to hunt down our classmates. Promise me we're truth. We're truth. Yeah.
Concerns from both school administrations and police have been raised. In Sturgeon Heights Collegiate's case, playing the game on school grounds is prohibited. The school's principal says they are encouraging students to stay safe. In a statement, Manitoba RCMP say no local incidents have been reported yet, but emphasize that carrying an imitation firearm can have legal consequences, asking students and parents to make safe, responsible choices. The Kelvin High School game has rules like being respectful, only spraying on public property, and not targeting innocent bystanders.
The players aren't typically going inside of the businesses to try and shoot people. We wait till they leave.
And for Rain's mother, Carla Brisky, she's a big fan of the game.
There has been some examples of some people kind of not playing the game properly or doing the wrong thing, but for the most part, it's great. It's positive. It gets them outside, it gets them off the phones, gets them running around, they're laughing.
CTV News reached out to the Winnipeg School Division and the Winnipeg Police Service for comment and is awaiting for responses. Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Here's a look at what's happening in traffic now along the Norwood Bridge. It looks like maybe these cars are stopped at a red light, but overall we have not heard of any issues in this part of the city. Let's look now at your gas prices. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.79. It's a small drop from yesterday, and the lowest price in the city is $1.48, found at Domo on McPhillip Street. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Coming up, Ainsley is live with the Alzheimer's Society of Manitoba. We're going to hear about their upcoming walk in support of patients and care. Stay with us.
Weather is brought to you by the Better Business Bureau. Research at bbb.org before you buy.
It's feeling a little bit cool out here, and it's mostly due to the breeze. That wind is going to be strong, intensely so, once again today. As far as temperatures go, we are slightly above seasonal, starting out at 7 degrees. We got some heavier clouds hanging over us, currently blocking the sun, and we may still see a little bit of morning precipitation while these clouds are hanging around. That wind I talked about is out of the north-northwest. It's gusting to 53 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, the humidity sitting at 75%. But yes, the clouds are expected to clear, taking that chance of precipitation on with them. That'll be moving then through northwestern Ontario. We had a bit of a soaking overnight, and like I said, could still see some scattered showers this morning, but clearing is expected throughout the day today. The western border is already experiencing those clear conditions, the heavier clouds, the precipitation lingering along the eastern border. As it clears, we too will be enjoying increasing amounts of sunshine. But yes, these winds, they're going to be pretty intense throughout the day today, even though the temperatures will be climbing nicely up into those mid to high teens. Let's check in now with Ainsley McPhail, see where she's at and what's going on. Hey, Ainsley.
Hey, Tara, good morning. Maybe it's a good day for a walk on May 30th. It definitely is. Rain or shine, the Alzheimer's Walk is happening. Erin Crawford joins us now. She's the CEO of the Society. Tell us about this walk. It's knocking on the door.
Yeah, we're super excited that we have our IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's coming up, like you said, May 30th, Assiniboine Park. It's a super important fundraiser for us here at the Alzheimer's Society. It's a way that we manage to keep our programs going, keep our doors open for people.
Before we get to the programs, it's great for the people to connect with each other, right? More than just a walk, but true connection.
Yeah, I don't think people necessarily realize, or they certainly don't feel like there's a whole community of people around them sometimes when you have dementia. And when you show up at Assiniboine Park on May 30th, you actually, I think, will be quite surprised to see there's upwards of 1,000 people who show up that day. And it really is an opportunity to feel like, oh, I'm part of something bigger. It might be a club that none of us want to be in, but we are in it and we're not alone in it. There's a whole bunch of people here to support us.
Mm-hmm. And families too, past, present, and future, who are dealing with these challenges. When it comes to those fundraising efforts, tell us about some of the programs it helps.
Yeah, I think that people join WALK because sometimes they don't know what to do and they just want to do something to help. And when they're fundraising for that walk, that's exactly what they're doing. So they're funding programs like support groups where people can come and connect with one another, whether you're somebody who has dementia or a care partner. We have support groups for you. We have recreation programs for you. If you're interested in a museum, if you're interested in art, if you're interested in table tennis, we have a program for you. And then we have lots of education and counseling counseling resources that are available, just to help people kind of figure out what comes next. What do I do? What decisions do I need to make? It's a lot that comes at you and a lot of decisions you do have to make, and we're really here to help you walk through that.
Erin, thank you so much. And that awareness bit is so big. If you're at home watching, thinking, you know what, I am struggling silently with this, give Alzheimer's Society Manitoba a call.
Here's a look at the early markets. The Dow Jones is 36 points lower. The Nasdaq fell 216 points. The S&P index is 26 points down. The loonie decreased and now is set to 72.94 cents U.S. Overseas, the Hang Seng dropped 58 points and the Nikkei added 324. Good morning. It is 6:46. Police need your help tracking down a suspect in a home invasion in River Park South. It happened on the morning of April 2nd in the 100 block of Alberg Drive. Police say a woman identified herself as a police officer before pushing past the homeowner and trying to steal something from the home's entranceway. Ultimately, the woman was unsuccessful and no one was injured. Investigators say she drove off in a gray or silver Chevy Cobalt and was accompanied by a second vehicle, a blue Hyundai Palisade. Anyone with information or video footage is asked to contact the Major Crimes Unit or Crime Stoppers. City crews will start flushing water mains in southeast Winnipeg later this week. Water main flushing is done to help maintain underground water pipes and preserve water quality. The annual program is set to begin on May 13th with work initially in St. Boniface. Work will continue around the city until the end of August with a focus on neighborhoods in St. Vital, Transcona, and parts of River East. Affected households will be notified 2 to 4 days in advance of the work. You can find out when crews will be on your street using the map on the My Utility Info section of the city's website. OpenAI, the tech company already facing a lawsuit in BC from the families of the victims of the Tumbler Ridge shooting, is now also being sued by the family of a victim killed in the shooting at Florida State University last year. The lawsuit alleges that ChatGPT enabled the attack.
This is a lawsuit that we feel has great merit, but also is relatively groundbreaking.
The complaint cites conversations between the suspected shooter and the app. The suit claims OpenAI failed to detect a threat in ChatGPT's correspondence. The widow of one of the victims alleges OpenAI put profits before safety. OpenAI denies any wrongdoing. U.S. President Donald Trump will leave today for his visit to China. President Trump is scheduled to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Ahead of the trip, President Trump has said he plans to bring up issues like arms sales to Taiwan and the case of jailed media tycoon Jimmy Lai. President Trump has vented in the past about Beijing not doing enough to help end the conflict. But the two leaders are expected to put Iran on the back burner during this visit to focus on other issues like trade. A new study suggests mothers with endometriosis face a slightly higher risk of giving birth to babies with birth defects. It's the first Canadian study to examine the health of babies born to mothers with the condition. The study, published by the Canadian Medical Association Journal, analyzed data of more than 1.4 million births in Ontario between 2006 and 2021. Among those born to people who had endometriosis, about 6.3% had a congenital anomaly. That's compared to 5.4% born to people without endometriosis. Endometriosis impacts roughly 1 million people in Canada, making it one of the most common gynecological conditions. A Winnipeg steakhouse with a South American flair is closing up shop after 17 years in business. In a video posted to social media, Hermanos' owner says their family is shifting focus to a new restaurant opening up in Brandon. However, Winnipeg's Hermanos faithful won't have to wait too long for another meal. They're planning to open at a new location in the East Exchange this fall. Hermanos will be open Wednesday to Sunday until it closes on May 29th. The 71st Temps de Flor Festival has opened in Spain.
It's been lovely, yeah. There's when we got here, there was automatically so many flowers and everything, and it's just such a nice thing to see, and I'm glad we're here for this time of year.
400,000 people visit Girona every year to see the city's floral displays. Girona's cathedral steps were transformed into an installation specifically paying tribute to the architect, Tony Gaudi, to mark 100 years since his death. The festival runs until May 17th, closing with a massive nighttime exhibition. It's gorgeous. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning on Main Street. The northbound middle lane will be closed between Euclid and Selkirk Avenue. The southbound curb lane on Furby Street will be closed from Portage to Broadway. And on Aaron Street, the southbound curb lane will be closed between Wooliver and Portage. If you have any other traffic tips, send us a text, please.
7 degrees outside right now, still some heavier clouds lingering and still some strong winds which will be lasting throughout the day. They're right now out of the north-northwest, gusting to 53 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 75%. Yes, it's the winds that'll be the worst of today. The rain, we needed that. Gave us a good, nice soaking overnight, dampened some of that dust, which would otherwise just be whipping around on these very strong winds. It's tapering off. It's going to continue to push off to the east, and as that happens, clearing, sunshine perfectly timed to enjoy throughout the daytime. Areas along that western border already quite clear. Areas through the northeast will perhaps see some of that precipitation as well, but eventually clearing out. That'll be happening for everyone. Some sunshine. We just have to exercise some patience and some decent temperatures. I mean, 3 degrees is a normal daytime high up around the Churchill area. You'll get to about 2 degrees. 12, that's pretty close to seasonal for Thompson. I think 13 is a normal daytime high. So you're right in that zone of what to expect. Yes, the possibility of some morning precipitation clearing throughout the day, whereas it's already clear along that western border. And you've got some really nice temperatures on tap for today, mid to high teens. Yesterday, southwestern Manitoba was up in the mid-20s, low to mid-20s, and you could be there again today, at least into the low 20s with plenty of sunshine. Sure, the winds, they'll be strong and a factor throughout the day today. They're already quite noticeable, and even as it clears and the conditions otherwise improve, those winds staying very strong. But 19 degrees would be a normal daytime high, and you can see we're all kind of in that zone of what you would expect for temperatures, knowing that it's going to get even warmer over the next couple of days, and maybe even a little bit sunnier as well, because once it clears out this afternoon, we'll have clear conditions overnight, plenty of sunshine for tomorrow, up to 24 degrees, and still on Thursday slightly above seasonal. Only for a couple of days, though, temperatures will be cooling off toward the end of the week and weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Let's check in now on the team at 103.1 Virgin Radio. Hi, guys. Happy Tuesday.
Hi. Good morning.
Nice shirt, Ace.
Bon matin.
Bon matin at 12.
Thank you. I was just trying to get in a little plug for him. Happy Manitoba Day, everyone.
Yes.
I made this song. I tried to fit in as many communities in Manitoba as possible. It's from, I always forget.
Animaniacs.
Animaniacs. It was a big cartoon.
Okay.
All right. And so this is the Manitoba song. I forget how many places I fit into it.
But there's a lot.
There's a lot. There's a lot. Ardbeg, Melita, Peg with Oakbank, Nebo, Wastad, Altona, Beausejour, Steinbach, Kleefeld, St. James, Carmen, Winkler, Transcona, Morden, Moosehorn, all 3 Kildonans, Oak Bluff, Pine Falls, Riverton, Fisher, Branch, Flin-Flon, Lorette, Lactabonnie, Opaskwayak, Cree Nation, St. Adolphe, Gildon, LaPon, Nelson House, Killarney, Cross Lake, LaSalle, Cooks Creek, Gildashane, Sedigat, Domain, Brandon, Ibbett, Flow, St. Battelle, Verdon, McGregor, St. Malo, Alonzo, Plum, West End, Souris, Haddishville, Gibsonville, Asher, McCreary, Gillam, Norway, House, Morris, Pilot, Mount River Heights, Richard, Marchand, Fanny, Stell, Elmwood, Piney, Petersfield, Glandeboy, Toulon, Sagging, Eli, Saint-Pierre, Jolie, Shamattawa, Anola, Carberry, Selkirk, Windsor Park, Deloraine, Puckett, Waganua, Bowden, Verdon, St. Boniface, Boys of Ain. Happy Manitoba Day.
I love that. It's so fun.
Do you remember how many takes you had to do?
I think it was 1 take.
No.
Wow.
That's really impressive.
Tough to do. No, that sounds like I'm making that up.
Oh,
I think it was 113
1 take,
takes.
Rochelle.
1 take.
Pretty impressive. Indeed. Indeed. Thanks, you guys.
Why did I say that? That's not true.
You can text us. I'll send you the link, 99999 if you want that for yourself, okay?
I love
Thanks
it so
much. Happy
Thanks,
Manitoba Day.
You too. How far would you go to reclaim stolen property? One man in Nanaimo drove 3 hours to get his garden ornament back. CTV's Adam Sawatsky explains why it was worth the trek.
Well, seeing as he likes fixing all sorts of things, Brian Neve was intrigued to find a broken mannequin at a garage sale.
Down, he was all in pieces. Yeah. I just say, oh, that was kind of cool.
His wife, Terry, on the other hand, was not so sure.
Well, it's kind of out there, but
But after Brian repaired the mannequin, Terry discovered it could be kind of fun finding outfits for him. So they named him Gunner and kept him around the house.
It would scare us because we'd forget that he was there.
So Brian put Gunner outside on the roof of his van before finding a permanent place on the fence, which proved popular with people passing.
You know, they come by and they toot their horns. It kind of makes people happy.
Gunner became a fixture in the neighborhood for almost a decade, until the day Terry woke up in the middle of the night to find the mannequin missing.
And I says, Brian, I think Gunner's gone. So he gets his pants on and goes outside and he goes, oh, he is.
And after being gone for more than a month, the mannequin was mourned by neighbors of all ages.
He said every time the little boy heard sirens, he said, is that the police looking for Gunner?
Eventually, Brian offered a $100 reward for his return, which led to a stranger sending him this picture.
That's definitely my mannequin. So had to go track him down, right?
Yeah. Brian ended up rescuing the mannequin from a town almost 3 hours away before ensuring Gunner was secured more firmly than before.
I said, yay! We were so happy.
Yeah. Until recently, when they wondered if others would be even happier if their mannequin had a mate, but the only one Brian could find had no face.
You know, she was looking pretty freaky.
So Terry asked her hairdresser to give the mannequin a makeover, and after she went above and beyond, Gunner has a girlfriend named Jillian.
It's nice to do something that makes people smile.
I guess we'll just kind of carry on doing it because people are paying attention, makes somebody happy.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Nanaimo.
That's kind of neat. Here's a look outside now at Portage Avenue. Things are moving well to start off this morning. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this with your 7 o'clock headlines. Stay with us. It's Tuesday, May the 12th. Today, a disturbing case. What was the result of a cross-border luring investigation? Plus, hitting the market. Which iconic Winnipeg hotel is up for sale? And a looming deadline. What happens if you fail to fill out your census form? Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Tuesday. Also, happy Manitoba Day. Today was the day when our province was brought into Confederation back in 1870, making us the 5th province in the country. So it's a special day. We're going to talk about it throughout the day today.
Nice.
But let's talk about the weather. It was started the day with some rain this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. You heard the storms last night.
Yep.
My goodness, they were a little bit loud.
Rumbling.
Perhaps kept some folks awake. And then, yes, waking up now to some wet streets, some puddles, and some heavy clouds still lingering. With those heavy clouds, there's actually still the possibility that we see a little bit more precipitation. But then as it clears out, we'll see a lot more sunshine. Nice temperatures today, but unfortunately, those winds, they're going to be a nuisance once again. 7 degrees is where we're sitting with a north-northwest wind up to 53 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 75%. So yes, we do have these heavier clouds lingering. The precipitation you can see just beginning to move off to the east now. It's basically just outside the city and will continue to push further east. So much of northwestern Ontario, things are still looking quite active there. And up into the northeastern part of the province, the precipitation doesn't read, but you can expect that there will perhaps be a little bit of lingering activity as well. Then, as the day goes on, all of this clears out. You can see it's already clear along this western border, and all of us will see increasing amounts of sunshine with those clouds moving out of the way. Temperatures on the rise with the warmth of the sun. But yeah, the winds, they can just get out of here, couldn't they? Well, here's the thing. The wind should taper off overnight and become light for tomorrow. And tomorrow, plenty of sunshine again, really nice temperatures. We will start to see a few more clouds moving in perhaps for Thursday, but Thursday is still going to be very mild with the temperatures, perhaps some precipitation to move through into the overnight hours, and that'll cause those temperatures to then drop off for the coming weekend. So May long, we're in for a little bit of a cool down, perhaps a little bit soggy at times, but over the next couple of days with that sunshine, temperatures will be on the rise, so it's going to be looking good for the next couple. And big thanks to Madison, 4 years old, for your artwork today. I always love to see what it is that you've been working on, and we'd love to see more of it. We're asking you to send it through our website now, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. And when you do, you're going to be entered to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle on Keniston.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle. Spend quality time with loved ones and paint memories together.
A disturbing cross-border investigation has resulted in charges against an American who is accused of luring a 10-year-old girl from Manitoba. What began as interactions on social media moved over to text messages. CTV's Alex Karpa on the surge in luring cases.
A 32-year-old Ohio man is facing charges after allegedly grooming a 10-year-old Manitoba girl online and convincing her to send sexually explicit images and videos. Investigators say Courtney Arden Wise III posed as a teenager and communicated first with the girl through social media before shifting to direct text messages.
This incident was a terrible reminder of the dangers that lurk on the internet, especially for children and teenagers.
Wise III was arrested in February in Ohio, where police seized electronic devices allegedly containing the messages exchanged with the girl. He's facing several charges, including sexual exploitation of a child.
We encourage parents and caregivers to educate their children on how to stay safe online.
Lindsay Lobb with the Canadian Centre for Child Protection says the organization receives similar reports to this case every day through their national tip line on cybertip.ca. She said reports related to the online luring have risen from 750 reports in 2020 to more than 3,300 this past year.
What we know is that much of this is attributed to adults being allowed to intersect with children in largely unregulated spaces.
Tech experts say parents should always know what tools or platforms their children are using.
And that doesn't just include classic tools like social media apps and artificial intelligence. Increasingly, it can also include gaming platforms or even music platforms that incorporate social media features into them.
U.S. investigators believe the suspect may have targeted other children, and the investigation is still ongoing. RCMP did confirm that Wise III is not facing any charges here in Canada. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
RCMP in Gibsonville are asking for your help in locating a missing 14-year-old female from Little Saskatchewan First Nation. Police say Alanis Beardy was last seen Saturday getting into an unknown vehicle. She's believed to have been headed to Winnipeg. Family and friends have not heard from her since. Her current whereabouts are unknown. Alanis Beardy is described as 5 feet 4 inches tall, 120 pounds with long black hair. She was last seen wearing a white sweater, light brown t-shirt, brown pants, and pink and white shoes. She may be carrying a white purse. If you have any information as to where Alanis Beardy may be, you're asked to call Gibsonville RCMP at 204-659-2682 or Crime Stoppers. If you've ever thought of adding hotelier to your resume, here's your chance. The iconic Fort Garry Hotel is hitting the market. The Chateau-style 13-story building opened in 1913 by Grand Trunk Pacific Railway. It was designated as a National Historic Site in 1981, according to the listing on the Avazon Young website. The property boasts over 60,000 square feet of meeting, spa, and fitness space, and includes 236 suites and restaurants.
When you're looking at an iconic asset like this, 100 years old, they're irreplaceable. And so it's interesting when you try and look at all the various components that drive revenue at an asset like this. No one's building them like this.
As for the price tag, that's yet to be determined, but rest assured it will not be cheap. Today is the last day to submit your census. Well, sort of. StatsCan says today is more of a reference date than a cutoff. People who haven't filled out their forms will be reminded to do it through letters, calls, and even in-person visits. If the form still isn't handed in after all of that, there could be a $500 fine. The census is sent out every 5 years. Information collected is used to make policy decisions and to decide how money is spent. Thousands of union leaders, workers, and activists are gathering in Winnipeg this week. The Canadian Labour Congress opened its 31st triennial Constitutional Convention Monday, the first time it's been held here in Winnipeg in the past 40 years. From now through Friday, delegates will participate in panel discussions and hear from guest speakers on democracy, workers' rights, and the economy. Speakers include union and business leaders, politicians, and more.
This is when Canada's unions bring delegates together and we discuss the most important issues, and it really sets the tone of what we're going to prioritize over the next 3 years.
The Congress's executive vice president says much of the talk surrounds what's happening in the world, including tariffs, job security, and health care. The Canadian Labour Congress is Canada's largest labour organization and represents more than 3 million workers across the country. Here's a look now at what's happening on Confusion Corner, rather. It looks like things are starting to slowly pick up in this region, but overall moving quite well. If you have any issues out there, please let us know. The kids creative with this Your Morning Winnipeg contest. Crockadoodle Keniston is holding some kids' summer art classes, and the activities include painting ice cream gnomes, turtles, watermelons, and tropical geckos. This week, we're giving away one prize pack with a selection of 4 classes from June 23rd to July 7th. There will be pizza for lunch, games, and a lot of fun. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca, and don't forget to enter the keyword paint. Good luck.
A retreat in high-flying technology stocks is dragging equities lower as traders wait for U.S. inflation data. Brent rose for a third straight day, with the ceasefire in the Middle East appearing increasingly fragile. And South Korea is considering maybe that all citizens will get paid a share of AI profits. A top policymaker is urging that as a labor dispute threatens to disrupt production at Samsung Electronics' chip division. Presidential Policy Chief Kim Yong-byom said in a Facebook post that a portion of the profits and tax revenue derived from the artificial intelligence boom should be structurally returned to all citizens. Jesta, the Montreal-based family-run company which owns properties around the world, is moving into the Toronto market with a $30 million bulk acquisition of condos, one of the first of its kind in the city. It'll be in the downtown core. The company says it's the beginning of a $500 million program targeting more than 1,000 condominium units over the next 12 months. Just as Anthony O'Brien says, Toronto's fundamentals remain strong, and the current market environment has created a unique window to deploy capital at scale. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
All right, let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live with the Alzheimer's Society of Manitoba this morning. An upcoming walk so important for patients as well as some of the programming at the association. Good morning, Ainsley.
Hi, good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Manitoba. Alzheimer's and dementia, a truly gruesome disease hitting close to home for so many of us, myself included. And a day and a walk, 10 a.m. at Assiniboine Park on May 30th, that you have the opportunity to walk alongside so many other Manitobans who are dealing with this. I'm talking over 20,300 people. There is good news because there is help and support and assistance with the Alzheimer's Society of Manitoba. And as Rochelle mentioned, that's where the funds are going to, whether it's a support group or counseling or Minds in Motion program or dementia-friendly communities that you're talking about at 727. There are resources here for you. I'm simply out of time right now, but stay with us for that conversation.
Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's going to be a windy day, Terry.
It is. Can you hear this?
No.
No.
Is that the wind?
Okay, no, it's not. It's a goose.
Oh, it's
like
a goose.
I could touch him.
Really?
He's
Don't.
right there. Again, I keep assigning genders to the birds that I'm seeing, and I don't actually know. Anyway, hi. Yeah, I've got some company up here on the rooftop today. Maybe, which way are we going to move the camera? We're going to go wow. Never mind, it's just not your day. It ain't your day to shine. It's the sun's day to shine, though. We'll be seeing more of that later on today. Right now, still some heavier clouds hanging over us. 7 degrees is where we're sitting right now with a bit of a breeze that's gusting to 46 kilometers per hour out of the north-northwest. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 78%. You're loud. You got lots to say. She has lots to say. Okay, we'll say she has a lot to say this morning. As far as the conditions go, they will be improving. And I say that only because it's looking a little bit gloomy out here with some heavier clouds hanging over us. There was rain that fell last night. We welcome that because it took the dust away. And perhaps we'll keep that at bay because the winds are going to be strong. So thanks to that little bit of a street washing, maybe the dust won't be as bad today, as those winds will at times be gusting to 60 kilometers per hour. Temperatures on the rise, though, and yes, a little more sunshine to come. It'll be a pleasant day ahead if it weren't for that wind, and then even warmer for the next couple of days. So the mercury is going to be on the rise. Right across the province, we'll eventually see more sunshine. The western side already enjoying those clear conditions, and we'll see more of that along the eastern side as these clouds continue to move out of the way.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
It's time now for a question of the day. Today is Manitoba Day, so we're asking, what do you love most about Manitoba? You can text your answer to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response, and please don't forget your name.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic. Science-backed body contouring.
At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing. We want more, whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way, please. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca. And then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. Wake up and win with CTV Your Morning and Manitoba Blue Cross. We could pay your bills with a massive $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. Today's code word is expense. Head to the contest page at ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter expense with your info for your chance to win the Your Morning $20,000 Pay Your Bills contest, brought to you by Manitoba Blue Cross, your local trusted health benefits provider. Good luck. Good morning. A former hockey coach who admitted to sexually assaulting a teen player has been sentenced to 6 years in prison. Madison Billick had an inappropriate sexual relationship with a girl between 2019 and 2021. Billick initially faced 15 charges and pled guilty to luring and sexual assault. She was in her 20s at the time of the offenses, which started when the victim was just 15. Provincial Court Judge Jerry Lee Ryle says Billick used her authority and influence to groom the player. The judge says Billick caused emotional and psychological harm, and the ripple effects continue. RCMP and Portage-la Prairie are looking for a missing 14-year-old female. On Saturday, RCMP received a report that Ainsley Roulette had not returned home after she had left earlier that day. Since then, she has not returned, and efforts to locate her have been unsuccessful. Roulette was last seen walking in the 1700 block of Saskatchewan Avenue East in Portage-la Prairie. She's about 5 feet 5 inches tall with dark hair. Anyone who has seen Ainsley Roulette or knows where she is should call RCMP in Portage-la Prairie at 204-857-4445 or Crime Stoppers. A new study from Yale University found helping parents manage stress may lower the risk of unhealthy weight gain in young children. Researchers found parents who reported less stress had more positive interactions with their children, and their kids ate fewer unhealthy foods. Experts say stress at home can shape family routines, food choices, sleep, and physical activity, all of which may affect a child's health. The findings suggest supporting parents could be an important part of preventing childhood obesity early in life. So what can families do? Experts recommend simple stress relief habits like taking a walk, asking for help when needed, and keeping regular meal and bedtime routines. A group of farm kids south of the border had a solid senior prank at their high school.
Everything taken care of, and they did. They had, like, we'll do this, and this is how it's going to work. We'll bring them in, and they said, well, it's harmless.
Their principal was on board. The kids turned the school's parking lot into a cattle lot, which was a surprise for the rest of the school. They worked with the school to make sure it was safe, and even their parents helped too. The students helped clean up afterwards, so it was a prank done responsibly. Good for them. Here's a look at what's happening in traffic now on McPhillip Street. Things are moving quite well over here. As you can see, no issues to tell you about at this point in the drive.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
In entertainment, a Manitoba singer-songwriter is among a star-studded lineup announced for this summer's FIFA World Cup opening ceremony.
Only stories in this town.
William Prince will join other Canadian performers, including Alanis Morissette, Alessia Cara, and Michael Bublé. The opening ceremony is set to take place ahead of Team Canada's game against Bosnia in Toronto on June 12th. In a social media post, Prince calls it a privilege to represent his home community of Peguis First Nation and Canada. Marilyn Monroe's Hidden World is heading to auction.
People that knowing that you can actually buy something that did, touch her skin or was written by her hand. I mean, it's not just something that's once removed in merchandise. This is something that's very intimate and personal.
The memorabilia offers a rare glimpse into her private life. Items up for sale include clothing, jewelry, handwritten notes, paintings, and poetry. Heritage Auctions is hosting the sale, which happens June the 1st, which coincides with what would have been the star's 100th birthday. A Broadway hit based on a beloved Tim Burton film is coming to town.
Beetlejuice! 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 It's showtime!
Beetlejuice, the musical comedy, will be taking the stage at the Centennial Concert Hall for 5 shows across 3 days at the end of January. It tells the story of Lydia Dietz, whose life is turned upside down when she meets a recently deceased couple and a troublemaking demon. Group tickets for 10 or more are now on sale. Single tickets will be available in the fall. You can find all the details by heading to BroadwayAcrossCanada.ca. Your Tuesday primetime lineup kicks off with Celebrity Jeopardy at 7. Match Game comes next at 8. Then 3 episodes of The Big Bang Theory. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
Looking outside now through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. Still with those heavy clouds hanging around, you know who's no longer hanging around? My little friend from the rooftop. Flew away, but I've got a video captured on my Instagram, so you'll be able to see our little interaction up there. I always love when the birds come by, then, you know, hang around. Sometimes they just chat a little bit. I was unfortunately sad that they didn't make my last hit, but like I said, you'll be able to see them out there. Upstairs on the rooftop is always one of my favorite places to get to because it's a chance to actually enjoy the morning weather. And with temperatures like this, honestly, it is pleasant. You need that extra layer on. It's cloudy, it seems cool from the wind, but we're actually above seasonal to kick off the morning, and that's the case all through southern Manitoba. 5 degrees would be normal. Most of us are at 6, 7 degrees, and in fact, those plus-digit temperatures right up into northern Manitoba. So pleasant as far as the temperatures go. Just know that, yes, with that wind and the lack of sunshine for now along the eastern border, you'll want a little something to kind of wrap yourself in. But along that western border, it's already clear. Here's a look at the satellite image. You can see what I'm talking about. Sunshine to kick off your morning, and we'll eventually get that sun shining for us here on the eastern side as well as these overnight showers continue to push off to the east with that clearing behind it. And as that clearing takes place and the sunshine busts out, we could go from 7 degrees this morning as kids get into the classroom to 16 by the time they're coming home today. 17 our expected high. Even warmer then for the next couple of days. Unfortunately, that won't last into the weekend. May long is looking like it will be cooling down with maybe a little more precipitation to come. Speaking of the wildlife, our little Woody spotted out in St. Claude was snapped by Sandra, and we love to see more of your photos, so keep them coming please to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca.
May 12, 1820, Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing, was born. Known as the Lady of the Lab, she began visiting British hospitals and studying methods of training in 1844. In 1854, during the Crimean War, she assembled a unit of 38 nurses and, despite opposition, established and operated hospitals. May 12, 1870. Parliament passed the Manitoba Act, creating the new province. Manitoba formally entered Confederation as the 5th province on July 15th of that same year. The province came into being largely because of the efforts of Louis Riel and the Métis Provisional Government during the Red River Resistance. May 12th is officially celebrated as Manitoba Day. May 12, 1958, the United States and Canada formally established the North American Air Defense Command, NORAD. It was created at the height of Cold War tension between North America and the Soviet Union. NORAD would come to rely on the threat detection capabilities of several extensive radar networks spread across Canada, especially in the far north.
The BC's motorcycle community is stunned by a crash in Delta so baffling it's hard to believe. Here's CTV's Sinjin Alexander.
At first glance, this seems impossible. This must be a prank or AI. But it's real, all right. And now one of the most analyzed and talked about motorcycle crashes.
It's like, wow, that really happened, you know?
Moments before the collision, watch the middle of the intersection. A sedan is making a left-hand turn. Then a bike enters the frame. It's up on one wheel as the rider appears to hit the brakes before colliding with the car. Mike McDonald, instructor at V-Twin Motorcycle Riding School.
Oftentimes when something like this does happen, everybody's thinking, oh, is this rider okay? Do we know him?
Police say the rider was hurt, but is expected to survive. Now, we don't have all the details yet. Investigators will likely reconstruct the crash. We are told intersections are one of the most dangerous spots on the road for motorbikes.
Because we have risks coming from all different locations, both sides, in front of us, turns, all of those things.
Ryan Austin is also an instructor and retired police sergeant. He figures the forensic team will be looking at angles of contact. And because the bike left the ground, it might reveal how fast it was going based on throw distance.
From a legal perspective, the officers doing the investigation still need to put all the pieces together to show that that video is actually valid.
The kind of car it was and the way the fender was shaped, and of course, the front tire of a motorcycle being as rounded as it is, it was just a perfect storm, and geometry just kind of launched it up.
And since these images are so baffling and has people talking, they hope it reminds riders the importance of defensive training and drivers to stay alert as motorcycle season officially gets underway. St. Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
Coming up, we're going to find out a little bit more about the Walk for Alzheimer's and how you can support it. Stay with us. We're talking about Alzheimer's and dementia this morning and how people need supportive communities when they are diagnosed. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning. And anyone who's been through this or knows someone who has understands that a level of connection is so important. Erin Crawford is joining us now with the foundation. So tell us a little bit about what programs are available in regards to keeping people active.
Yeah, I think something that people might not realize is how many recreation type programs that we offer that are geared specifically for people who have dementia and their care partner. If you're watching this morning, we'd encourage you to give us a call and learn more about them, because there's quite a range. If you're into singing, or if you're into art, or if you're into being outside in nature, or if you're into sports, we actually have activity programs that center around all of those different types of things. So you can maintain your level of interest in different hobbies. You can find a community of people where you can go and join these programs, and it's all kind of tailored to you and what your specific needs might be. So it's a really nice thing to have available in the community, and I would hazard a guess that a whole lot of people aren't aware that those exist. And so it's a really nice thing that's there, and I hope people get a little bit of information this morning so they can take advantage of those things.
Not only aware that it exists, but also aware of just how beneficial it can be to be in those situations. So, for example, music. You're seeing these individuals light up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It can be a touch point back to some previous memory, some previous feeling, something that can really help people very much, like you say, connect. And I think that we see the benefit in the moment. And we also know that by staying engaged and active in the community, people can stay living in their community longer. So many of us really have a vision for how we want our older age to be, and this is part of making that happen.
Mm-hmm. You know what? It's the little things in life. So even singing someone their favorite song can truly go a long way. Coming up on May 30th, that's when the Alzheimer's Walk is at Assiniboine Park.
All right, we're going to tell you how you can sign up a little later. Thank you, Ainsley. And today we're going to get to see the sun.
Yes, eventually. I know it's still looking a little bit gloomy right now, but that's not much longer. We're probably within the next few hours going to see those clouds moving out of the way and the sunshine taking its place. It's 7 degrees right now, so it's actually an above seasonal start to your day. 5 degrees would be a normal low, so in that sense, it's a win. As far as the winds go, not so much. They're strong and gusty once again out of the north-northwest up to 46 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 78%. So yes, dealing with that stronger wind and the lingering clouds. There was the precipitation. Perhaps you heard those storms last night. Now that is starting to push off to the east. As that happens, we'll see these clouds along this eastern border clearing out. It's already cleared from the western half of the province, and the eastern side will enjoy that as well. So a little more sunshine as the day goes on and a little more warmth to go with it. 17 degrees is where we're headed this afternoon. 19 is in fact normal for this time of year, so still with these below seasonal temperatures. And yes, the strong winds out of the southeast gusting to about 60 kilometers per hour and then clearing through the afternoon. That'll set us up for clear conditions overnight. With the winds tapering off, temperature only dropping down to 6 degrees, so another fairly mild night. Tomorrow even warmer yet with plenty of sunshine and just a moderate wind. Things should be feeling pretty spectacular through Wednesday. Even Thursday is looking to be slightly above seasonal, but the heavier clouds will build up through Thursday. We could see some precipitation Thursday night, and then following that, temperatures will be cooling down. Unfortunate timing, because it does look like May long weekend will be a little bit cloudy, below seasonal, and perhaps a little soggy at times.
Thank you, Terry. New security measures are being considered at the public library in Steinbach. Officials say illegal activity was being conducted in bathrooms, and the library was forced to close an area when staff found drug paraphernalia in a reading corner. A fight even broke out between guests at a Christmas event for children.
We need security cameras in here that will help us see what's actually going on when we can't be there. Because people get really good at hiding things when you start walking around.
The director of Steinbach's Jake Epp Library, Aubrey Walker, says security cameras would be the least intrusive security measure the library can institute, as staff can't physically monitor every part of the building. Steinbach Mayor Earl Funk says the city might be able to help once provincial grant money for safety upgrades becomes available.
So once we know what we need to do in order to access that money, then we'll go down those avenues to get it done.
Walker says long-term solutions could also include metal detectors, but cameras will most likely be tried first to determine their overall effectiveness at reducing improper activity on library premises. City crews will start flushing water mains in southeast Winnipeg later this week. Water main flushing is done to help maintain underground water pipes and preserve water quality. The annual program is set to begin on May 13th, with work initially in St. Boniface. Work will continue around the city until the end of August, with a focus on neighborhoods in St. Vital, Transcona, and parts of River East. Affected households will be notified 2 to 4 days in advance of the work. You can find out when crews will be on your street using the map on the My Utility Info section of the city's website. A relatively small but intense wildfire in central Alberta has forced some people out of their homes.
Very dry, and with it being in the forest protected, like there are a lot of trees in that area. Nothing's greened up. You still have a lot of the underbrush and the deadfall around the area. It just went up like a tinderbox, unfortunately.
The out-of-control fire is threatening homes near the community of White Court. Officials say what started as a grass fire spread due to warm temperatures and gusty winds. There are about 30 homes in the affected area. About 100 people have now registered at the reception center in White Court. No evacuation alert has been issued for White Court, but people are being told to be ready. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is fighting to save his job, with a growing number of his own lawmakers now calling on him to quit. Starmer is refusing to step down after terrible results in last week's local elections that saw his party's support drop. But Starmer has told his cabinet that he will get on with governing, pointing out that a formal challenge has not been mounted against his leadership. The first UK government minister, however, has resigned and asked Starmer to set a timetable for an orderly transition of power. Britain is no stranger to political chaos. If Starmer does step down, his successor would become Britain's 7th prime minister in 10 years. Many people seem to be coughing and sneezing these days, and allergies may not be the only reason. It could be HMPV, a common respiratory illness that spreads through coughs, sneezes, and close contact. The virus is most common in late winter and spring, and researchers say it sickens millions of people each year. For most, it feels like a common cold, unpleasant but not life-threatening. But for babies, older adults, and those with weaker immune systems, it can sometimes lead to pneumonia. There's no vaccine and no specific treatment. If you do get sick, rest, fluids, and basic care are usually enough. But the best thing to do is try to stop the virus before it comes home. Cover your coughs and sneezes, regularly clean shared surfaces like tables and doorknobs, and always wash your hands well. How long do you think it would take you to run 600 kilometers?
Yeah, very tough road. We have a lot of elevation gains. It's very hot.
This German ultramarathoner did it over 5 days. He made the run from Death Valley to Santa Monica in California, starting in the Badwater Basin, which is the lowest point in the U.S. He finished at the Santa Monica Pier on the Pacific Ocean. In all, it took him a little more than 123 hours and 21 minutes. Is that all? Some road closures to remind you about this morning. On Main Street, the northbound middle lane will be closed between Euclid and Selkirk Avenue. The southbound curb lane on Furby Street will be closed from Portage to Broadway. And on Aaron Street, the southbound curb lane will be closed between Wooliver and Portage. If you have any other traffic tips, please send us a text. Here's a look at your gas prices now. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.79. It's a small drop from yesterday. And the lowest price in the city is $1.48, found at Domo on McPhillip Street. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
Right now, it is mainly cloudy, sitting at 7 degrees. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Degrees outside. Ooh, is that a little bit of blue sky we're seeing right along the horizon? We will be seeing more of that as these clouds continue to clear. It's still windy though. Those winds at the moment, they're out of the north-northwest. They're gusting to 46 kilometers per hour and could get even stronger throughout the day today. The pressure is rising. Humidity sitting at 78%. Perhaps you heard the storms last night. They were pretty loud, raging, left behind a little bit of precipitation, just enough to perhaps keep that dust at bay, give the plants a little bit of a drink. And now in the daytime hours, clearing out to make way for the sunshine. It'll all be pushing off to the east. All along this eastern border, that's where you still could see a little bit of lingering morning activity. And then, like I said, clearing into the afternoon with increasing amounts of sunshine to enjoy. Temperatures close to seasonal. 3 degrees would be a normal high in Churchill. You'll get almost there, and almost to the seasonal 13 degrees in the Thompson area, enjoying some sunnier conditions, as is the case all along this western border, with temperatures on the rise to above seasonal values, pushing up into those mid to high teens, when about 15 degrees is normal for this time of year through parts of the northwest. So you're going to shoot above seasonal, as will much of southwestern Manitoba for a second day in the row. Yesterday you were up into those low to mid 20s. Sure, we will deal with those stronger winds, but plenty of sunshine too. We still have that chance of precipitation over parts of the southeast, and then clearing, that sunshine warming us up into the mid to high teens. Northwestern Ontario likely to be a little bit cool, with the precipitation lingering and those clouds sticking around. Now, as it warms up throughout the next few days, we could be climbing to above seasonal values, with 19 being a normal high. We'll be up into those mid to low 20s for the next couple of days. A lot more sunshine for tomorrow. Heavier clouds building up Thursday, and by Thursday night, a round of precipitation that will cause these temperatures to drop off and then remain below seasonal as we're looking ahead to May long weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail. We're talking about the Alzheimer's Society of Manitoba and how they have a lot of programs and support groups available for people who need it. Good morning.
Good morning. As we know, Alzheimer's disease and dementia, not easy to deal with, and just simply talking about it can go a long way. Jessica Harper is joining us now with First Link to share about the various support groups too, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, we have support groups both for people living with dementia as well as for care partners, and offer a variety of virtual and in-person options. So hopefully, regardless of where you live throughout the province, whether you're close to one of our offices or living in rural Manitoba, there's an option for you. So we facilitate groups at various times throughout the day, various formats. So caregivers, for instance, we have general groups, we have specialized groups to really target some of those more unique and complex experiences that can come about with navigating the disease. So things like an ambiguous loss group, a bereavement group, a group for spouses of people living with dementia and long-term care, a men's coffee group. So a variety of different options, and then as well as the support groups for people living with dementia, and both virtual and in-person options.
And allowing it to be that niche, what does it do for the individuals behind it? So for example, men who are partners of it.
It's just such a great opportunity to come together for that mutual support and understanding. So being able to connect with other caregivers who might be going through a similar but different journey, but can really relate to some of the experiences that you're navigating, some of the feelings that you're experiencing, some of the challenges that you might be going through. So it's a great opportunity to come together for not just that sharing of information and resources and support, but really coming together and connecting into that community.
And I don't know if I'm putting this appropriately, but you have those moments when you're going through something tough where you go, oh, I'm not crazy. You know what I mean? It's not just me. So actually hearing someone say it helps.
Exactly. It's that mutual support that you can exchange, and knowing that you're not alone, that being a caregiver can be so sometimes isolating, challenging, so heavy at times, that coming together and, just as you explain, feeling like you're not alone, getting to connect with other caregivers who are going through a similar journey can make all the difference.
And for people at home watching, now is the time to share too how they too can take advantage of this.
Yeah, so give us a call, visit our website, connect with one of our First Link staff to explore if you're interested in a group, trying to find the group that's right for you, or if you're just looking for information, education, support, someone to talk to on those really difficult days, give us a call.
Thank you so much. May 30th is the day of the Alzheimer's Walk. Head to a link on our website for more details.
Thank you, Ainsley. It won't be long before dandelions and other weeds start popping up in your yard. Many of us will turn to lawnmowers to temporarily get rid of them. But imagine using a lamb mower instead. It's a new company in the U.S. using sheep to make yard work fun and environmentally friendly. Julie Carey has the story.
You ready for your big job today? All right, come on out, cookies and cream. You can go out, Gabbers. There you go, Cat. All right, one at a time.
It's a flock of sheep that can't wait to get to work. Their job, ridding this Woodbridge yard of weeds, including poison ivy.
So these are baby doll Southdown sheep. They're an heirloom breed that is really people-friendly and easy to control. So for a suburban environment, it's ideal. Water up!
In 2015, Shepherd Corey, as he's known, and his wife bought a farm in Fairfax County. Corey says a passion for the environment and regenerative agriculture led him to see what he could do with sheep. He says he discovered in his own pastures they were great at eating weeds. Lamb Mowers was born.
But they have really ventured out into the woods a little faster than I was expecting.
Corey says the company has evolved.
I started out with the idea of being a mowing service and kind of transitioned into being a weed and feed service where our sheep eat the weeds and fertilize the yard.
Shepherd Corey and Shepherd John start each job by fencing off the work zone, and they do some of the weeding themselves.
Oh, they are adorable.
Their afternoon job, a return visit to a backyard in Fairfax County. Stephanie Brander first hired lamb mowers to deal with her vine-filled ravine after she saw them in the Fairfax City July 4th parade.
It was wonderful. It was 2 hours and they got more done than I could have in a week.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
And they were fun to watch.
And for folks with a big yard, more than 2 acres, well, these guys could stay overnight and have a sheep over.
Jobs last 2 hours because after that, the sheep need time to digest, to chew their cud. And when it's time to move to the next job, Corey's call and the rattle of the feed pan provide the signal.
Let's go, sheep! Bye, sheep!
Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 25th birthday going out to Fatima with love from her mom Tammy and the family. Happy first birthday to the twins Ella Marie and Ellie Joy. Cook and Val sends her love and says she adores the two of you. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff, Winnipeg's balloon headquarters with 3 locations. Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
All right, 17 degrees is where we're headed today. That's getting close to a seasonal high of 19. It is nowhere near the record. That was actually just set last year. I don't even remember it being that hot, but 35.6 degrees is what we reached. There were a couple of really hot days. In fact, I was talking earlier this month when I was kind of looking through last May's forecast. There were 14 days throughout the month of May last year that were spent above 25 degrees. Most of this year so far has been below seasonal. I think we had a couple of nice days, and we got another couple to come. Today will still likely be a little bit below seasonal. Heavier clouds still lingering, 7 degrees right now. We've got a 46K wind gusting out of the north-northwest, the pressure rising, humidity at 78. I'm all alone up here on my rooftop now. My little bird friend has flown off. My interaction is on my Instagram page if you want to check it out. But yeah, I had a mouthy little one up here that is gone. But also to be gone later today will be these heavy clouds. It's looking gloomy right now, but sunshine to take its place. And with the sunshine returning, it's going to be warming us up nicely into the mid to high teens, but we're still going to deal with that breeze. And as far as the wind goes.
Thank you, Terry. Keep the kids creative with this Your Morning Winnipeg contest. Crockadoodle Keniston is holding some kids' summer art classes, And the activities include painting ice cream gnomes, turtles, watermelons, and tropical geckos. This week, we're giving away one prize pack with a selection of 4 classes from June 23rd to July the 7th. There will be pizza for lunch, games, and a lot of fun. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca, and don't forget to enter the keyword paint. Good luck. New details on a common condition that affects 1 in 10 women in Canada. Researchers found that mothers with endometriosis face a slightly higher risk of giving birth to babies with birth defects. Here's CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin.
Christina Kasparian has long battled debilitating pain linked to endometriosis.
A delayed diagnosis wreaked havoc in my system, my nervous system, my immune system, my fertility, my career, everything.
A few years ago, IVF led to what would ultimately be a failed pregnancy. But early on, Kasparian says she worried about the baby's development.
Even from the very beginning, the 2 discussions of endo and pregnancy were like 2 separate worlds.
But a new study funded by Ontario's Ministry of Health looked into links between endometriosis and the risk of congenital anomalies, including cleft palates or cardiovascular defects. The study found 6.3% of babies born to women living with endometriosis presented with an anomaly, as compared to 5.4% to other women.
We're not trying to alarm anyone. The risks are still really low. It's just helpful for clinicians to maybe monitor these patients a little bit more.
Experts say the study has limitations, but does provide insight on a disease that is underreported and often diagnosed too late.
This is a disease that needs to be picked up early to prevent possibly some of the fertility issues and certainly the chronicity of pain, which can be problematic for many women throughout their life.
1 in 10 women lives with endometriosis, a chronic inflammation where tissue resembling uterine lining grows outside the uterus. Kasparian is a tireless advocate for better research and treatment, and she says the study on congenital anomalies raises more questions that need to be answered.
This particular study, of course, I'm sure makes a lot of women and people feel nervous.
The authors say the study does highlight the importance of prenatal care. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
A growing number of female hockey players in New Brunswick are fighting back against what they say is an outdated rule, one that allows less ice time for girls in school sport. CTV's Laura Brown looks at the push to even the score.
A little fanfare, a short warm-up, and these players are off. This is a spring female hockey program, but many of these players spend September to March playing for their high school, where periods are shorter than their male peers.
It doesn't seem like much, but it adds up to 4.4 games throughout the whole year.
Shorter periods made sense when participation was low, but today's growing girls' game is now calling for more ice time.
You see many girls teams now at the younger ages, and they're coming with further and bigger expectations because they want to go and develop their craft as much as they can.
And those shorter periods can halt that development, he says. According to the school sport handbook, boys' games are 3 20-minute periods. Girls are 3 15-minute periods. It does say where possible, girls may play up to 18 minutes, but the rule book currently doesn't allow for 20-minute periods.
They want to go to the PWHL, or they want to play, university, or whatever the high hopes are. And if we take that away from them, even if they can get there or not, we don't want to crush their dreams by saying, you're not good enough to have these minutes or these times.
Doug Grandy, who co-founded a girls-only hockey program, doesn't call it gender inequality, just an outdated rule. Player Ava Byrne says simply it's time for the change.
At the beginning, girls hockey, it wasn't as big as it is now, and the game has evolved so much for us girls that I think it's our time for this.
School Sport New Brunswick's president isn't opposed to longer periods, but suspects some schools are hesitant because of the cost of ice time, and majority of schools have to agree. Doug Marion says his players have been loud and clear they're willing to pay more to play more, and he also thinks the change would mean a lot to them.
It gives the girls that are playing the ability to continue to grow to whatever they want to take their game to be.
Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
Hello there, Kara Wagland inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Monday. And for it, we head to England. Millwall taking on Hull City. Canadian Liam Miller with the throw-in. I'm going to warn you, this is tough. Maybe the worst throw-in attempt we've ever seen. Yep, tries to send it into the penalty area. And yeah, just slipped out of his hands, I guess. He's called for a foul throw. And get your must-see moment from Monday. Coming up tonight on TSN, we got the NBA playoffs, Game 5 between the T-Wolves and Spurs. Coverage for that one gets underway at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's all for now from SportsCenter. Have a great day.
The TSN must-see moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
Here's a look at traffic along the Pravache Bridge right now. Things are moving well. We're going to take a break. We'll be back after this with your 8 o'clock headlines. Stay with us. It's Tuesday, May the 12th, a cross-border luring investigation. What police in Canada and the U.S. allege happened after an Ohio man made online contact with a child in Manitoba. Hantavirus outbreak. All passengers are now off that ship. How many Canadians who were on the cruise are currently isolating due to potential exposures? And it doesn't matter what the batter actually accomplished, base hit, pop-up, or strikeout, this California team's bat dog always scores a home run with adoring fans. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. It's 8 o'clock on your Tuesday. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Now, coming up at 8:15, we're going to tell you about the Université de Saint-Boniface. They are offering a program this summer. It's quite immersive throughout the summer where teachers who are immersion, they want to learn a little bit more French. They want to learn how to write a little bit more French. It's offered to them. It's called FIT. And so we're going to tell you more about that program. It's a really fun way to learn as well. Lots of hands-on, visiting French restaurants, for example, or French music. So we're going to delve into that through at about 8:15, and then there is a Ron Paley tribute concert coming up, and Al Simmons is the host. He's joining us at about 8:27, so stay tuned for that. We're going to have some sunshine today.
We will eventually. I know it doesn't look like it right now. Heavier clouds still hanging over the city. There were those storms last night, perhaps woke a few of you up, and then of course when you did eventually wake up, you saw the puddles or the wet streets and grass behind. As the day goes on, we will see an improvement in the conditions, not in the wind speeds, though. Those winds will be pretty intense throughout the day. It's 7 degrees right now. The winds gusting to 46 clicks out of the north-northwest. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 78%. So nice when that rain times out overnight. Of course, it arrived yesterday afternoon, so we did deal with that. But then having it fall in the overnight hours so we get all of the benefits of the rain, which, of course, we need. But then as the day goes on and that clears out and the sunshine takes its place and we just get to be soaking up the rays of the sun, a beautiful looking day ahead. But yes, it will be a little bit breezy. The precipitation lingers along this eastern border, then it clears out of the way. Sunshine to take its place across most of the province, mainly sunny conditions, and then fairly clear overnight. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine once again, and even more warmth for tomorrow. We will be having these temperatures on the rise. It's just going to be a little bit breezy, so keep that in mind. However, tomorrow with that sunshine, I don't think the winds are going to be as strong. Once we're starting to look into Thursday night, that heavy cloud could come with some showers. And then on the other side of that, we'll deal with cooling temperatures. And that unfortunately times out for May long weekend. But for the next few days, the temperatures will be on the rise. Big thanks to 4-year-old Madison for our art today. And we would love to see more of it. So whatever it is you're working on, please send a picture of that to Winnipeg Weather. No, to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. And when you enter through our website, you're entered to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle on Kenniston.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle. Spend quality time with loved ones and paint memories together.
A 32-year-old man from Ohio has now been charged with luring a child in Canada over the internet.
This incident was a terrible reminder of the dangers that lurk on the internet, especially for children and teenagers. We encourage parents and caregivers to educate their children on how to stay safe online.
The man was arrested in February after he allegedly groomed a 10-year-old child in Manitoba on social media, convincing her to send sexually explicit photos. He has been charged with sexual exploitation, along with receiving and possessing sexually explicit material involving children. He remains in custody in Ohio. RCMP said officials in the United States are continuing to investigate and believe there may be more victims. A former hockey coach who admitted to sexually assaulting a teen player has been sentenced to 6 years in prison. Madison Billick had an inappropriate sexual relationship with the girl between 2019 and 2021. Billick initially faced 15 charges and pled guilty to luring and sexual assault. She was in her 20s at the time of the offenses, which started when the victim was just 15. Provincial Court Judge Jerry Lee Ryle says Billick used her authority and influence to groom the player. The judge says Billick caused emotional and psychological harm, and the ripple effects continue. The World Health Organization says it doesn't expect a larger outbreak of hantavirus, but it does expect more cases now that all passengers are off that cruise ship.
While they were still in the ship, especially before they started taking some infectious prevention measures, because of the interaction, we would expect more cases.
Since leaving the ship, an American, a French, and a Spanish citizen have all tested positive. They remain in isolation in their home countries. That brings the number of confirmed cases to 7. So far, 3 passengers have died, 2 of whom were confirmed to have had the virus. And now more than 20 countries are working to contain the spread. That includes Canada, where 4 people in BC and 3 people in Ontario remain in isolation. With oil prices up this morning, President Trump may suspend the federal gas tax.
Wouldn't we take the opportunity to give working people some relief?
People are having a hard time driving to work.
Donald Trump now says he is willing to suspend the tax, which costs drivers 18.4 cents a gallon. But he can't do it on his own. Congress needs to approve it. Some lawmakers from both parties have shown support. Others say it would be simpler to just end the war. You'll be delighted to see who fetches the bats for this minor league ball club every time a player gets on base.
Go get it.
She is a big star here. Every time she goes out, especially the first time of the night, she gets a huge cheer from our fans.
Omaha is the biggest star in the single-A Lake Elsinore Storm, and she's beloved by fans. They also claim she's the only bat dog for a pro baseball team on the U.S. West Coast. Even better, after most games, she also does a meet and greet with fans, posing for pictures and shaking a paw with whoever asks. What a good girl. Here's what's happening right now on the St. James Bridge. Things are moving nicely over here. If you see any issues out in traffic, please send us a text to let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Alzheimer's Society of Manitoba. If you have been newly diagnosed, the Alzheimer's Society is there for you. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. And the insurmountable feeling and questions that a person would have, I can't even begin to imagine. Jessica Harper is joining me now to talk about some of the supports available. Families are going to have questions at all levels. What are you guys doing to help?
Family education sessions. So they are a great opportunity for anyone that's looking for more information about dementia to come and learn from the experts about various topics related. So we try to cover different topics that would be relevant to families and caregivers throughout various stages of the dementia journey. So whether you're looking for general information about dementia, the disease progression, managing day-to-day, future planning, adapting to changes, navigating home care, long-term care, feelings of grief and loss, and more.
And with the progression, people are going to have questions out the gate and a lot of overwhelm. What are some commonly asked ones?
Oh, that's a great question. Honestly, we get questions related to any and all things related to dementia. So a lot of conversation around the warning signs. What's the difference between the warning signs associated with dementia? What are some of the memory loss, warning signs associated with normal aging? How to go about navigating a conversation with my doctor or healthcare provider? What are some of the important things to ask? What are some of the important things to emphasize? All the way through to now that there's been a diagnosis, what's the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's disease? What's vascular dementia? What's frontotemporal dementia? So our family education is a great opportunity to have all of those questions answered and more.
Well, I feel like I need to take a deep breath now. When it comes to the event coming up, why should people come?
Oh, the walk, you mean?
Yeah, of course.
Great opportunity, put faces to names, meet some of the staff, people that you've been connecting with by phone, by Zoom, through family education, and just a great opportunity to support a great cause.
Thank you so much. Head to a link on our website for more details.
Thank you, Ainsley. If you see high school kids running around with swimming goggles and toy water guns, don't be alarmed. It's called Senior Assassin, a worldwide game played by grade 12 students trying to have a last hurrah before grad. And as CTV's Harrison Shin shows you, both schools and police are advising them to stay safe.
These are the 007s of Kelvin High School. The grade 12 students have been playing something called Senior Assassin.
It's about like bringing everyone together and making sure that we're all one like whole class before we graduate, becoming friends with people you weren't friends with before, talking to kids you haven't talked to, just like, it's really about bringing people together, you know, a community-based game.
Using an app called Splashin, for a month, grade 12 students are tasked to spray their fellow senior students with a water gun. In Kelvin High School's case, assassins pay $5 to enter, building up to around a $700 grand prize for the last one standing.
I go out with my friends and we just have a good time going around, driving around the city, trying to hunt down our classmates.
Promise me we're truth. We're truth. Yeah!
Concerns from both school administrations and police have been raised. In Sturgeon Heights Collegiate's case, playing the game on school grounds is prohibited. The school's principal says they are encouraging students to stay safe. In a statement, Manitoba RCMP say no local incidents have been reported yet, but emphasize that carrying an imitation firearm can have legal consequences, asking students and parents to make safe, responsible choices. The Kelvin High School game has rules like being respectful, only spraying on public property, and not targeting innocent bystanders.
The players aren't typically going inside of the businesses to try and shoot people. We wait till they leave.
And for Rain's mother, Carla Brisky, she's a big fan of the game.
There has been some examples of some people kind of not playing the game properly or doing the wrong thing, but for the most part, it's great. It's positive. It gets them outside, it gets them off the phones, gets them running around, they're laughing.
CTV News reached out to the Winnipeg School Division and the Winnipeg Police Service for comment and is awaiting for responses. Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
And looking now through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. Still looking a little bit gloomy out there right now, waiting for the sun to shine. Some parts of the province, you're already lucking in along this western border. A beautiful clear start to the day. Along the eastern border, that's where the heavier clouds are lingering. We had the rain falling last night and earlier this morning. That will taper off for the areas that it's still falling just to the east of us, and then eventually all of us along this eastern border will enjoy that clearer sky with plenty of sunshine to warm us up, although already above seasonal, 5 degrees in normal lows, so we've got 7s, 8s. Those are the average temperatures through southern Manitoba, and even northern Manitoba is a few degrees above the freezing mark, maybe only 1 in the Churchill area. But like I said, clearing will eventually happen for the folks along this eastern border, and that precipitation will continue to push further off to the east. So as we're looking through the day today, the warm-up will come, but it's still going to come with a strong wind. That's going to linger. It's a northwest wind at times gusting to 60 kilometers per hour. 7 degrees, those heavier clouds still lingering. 14 through the lunch hour, starting to see some of that sunshine busting out, and 16 by the time kids are coming home from school, with 17 our expected high. Now 19 is normal for this time of year, so we'll be just shy of it today, but surpassing those numbers with the clearer conditions tomorrow. Heavier clouds start to move in Thursday. That could bring precipitation Thursday night, and following that, the temperatures will be cooling down for May long weekend. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
A retreat in high-flying technology stocks is dragging equities lower as traders wait for U.S. inflation data. Brent rose for a third straight day, with the ceasefire in the Middle East appearing increasingly fragile. And South Korea is considering maybe that all citizens will get paid a share of AI profits. A top policymaker is urging that as a labor dispute threatens to disrupt production at Samsung Electronics' chip division. Presidential Policy Chief Kim Yong-byom said in a Facebook post that a portion of the profits and tax revenue derived from the artificial intelligence boom should be structurally returned to all citizens. Jesta, the Montreal-based family-run company which owns properties around the world, is moving into the Toronto market with a $30 million bulk acquisition of condos, one of the first of its kind in the city. It'll be in the downtown core. The company says it's the beginning of a $500 million program targeting more than 1,000 condominium units over the next 12 months. Just as Anthony O'Brien says, Toronto's fundamentals remain strong, and the current market environment has created a unique window to deploy capital at scale. Those are your morning business headlines from BNN Bloomberg. I'm Roger Peterson.
If you're a teacher and you want to boost your French speaking and writing skills, the University of St. Boniface is offering a specialized program this summer. It's called FIT, or French Immersion for Teachers, and it's part of the Université's Continuing Education Division. Not only will immersion teachers improve their français, but they'll get to do it in a fun, hands-on way. Joining us now is the Université of St. Boniface coordinator at the Continuing Education Division, Katia Moreau. Good morning, Katia. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
So tell us about FIT. What is it exactly? You've been doing it for 45 years, so you've been doing this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
What is the program?
So the program is it's a French immersion for teachers. So we want the teachers to learn French so they are able to teach French after. And so we have levels of beginner, intermediate, and advanced.
Okay.
And a teacher that want to learn French, they come to us, and we have lots of activities for them. Lots of cultural activities for them as well.
Okay.
And yeah.
So these are teachers that don't speak French at all, or they kind of have a little bit of a background in French already?
Both.
Okay.
It's for any teachers who wants to teach French.
Okay.
After.
And so you brought some props with you this morning. So for example, fruits and vegetables, you can hang on, you could hold them, you could touch them.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a lot of hands-on because it's interactive classes.
So this is, for example, this is orange en anglais.
Une orange.
Une orange. And then you have the strawberry, which is?
La fraise.
Okay.
And so we learn the colors, we learn like what we like for fruits, what we don't like. And this is for beginner 1 level. And at the end of beginner 1, the teachers will learn like a lot of kind of food. And at the end, they will be able to make a recipe and present that recipe, like with question and answers, because it's always interactive.
Right, and it's all en français and at any level, so they're learning as they go with others, and it's a fun way to learn because they're doing it together. Now, why is this program so successful, would you say?
Well, it's because it's really an immersive program, and we do a lot of cultural things, and we do workshop also, like we equip the teacher not only to teach French, but how to teach French, and also a lot of resources locally. Like we're gonna have a workshop this year with the Musée of St. Boniface that they're gonna learn to make a sash and do beading.
Okay.
We are going to have also a comic art, like someone will come and teach us how to make a comic book.
Okay.
And we have a lot of workshop. We're gonna have a workshop on indigenous perspective as well. And also at University of St. Boniface, we have like a library of tons of resources to teach French. It's called La Dref, and we can borrow a lot of things like this and a lot of hands-on.
This being 45 years, you're having a special little element this year. Everybody's going to enjoy a French restaurant.
Yes, to celebrate this year, I've been a teacher myself, and I want to treat teachers, and so we are going to go to Resto Gare, a very cool French restaurant, and we're gonna have like a nice French jazz band live for them. And we also do a draw that the teachers, the first 45 person to register, they can win a prize worth of $200, like a gift certificate to Cercle Molière, and also a restaurant at Inferno's.
This sounds amazing, and of course it's a big year for you. Well, congratulations on FIT, and merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Merci.
Bonjour. I'm up here on the rooftop right now, and we've got some heavier clouds hanging over us. Not for the entire day. We'll see some clearing, eventually some sunshine, and that sunshine will warm us up, although we're technically above seasonal with our overnight lows having only dropped to 7 degrees. I think actually 6 is where we fell to. Anyway, 5 is a normal low, so we're doing okay in that sense, but it is breezy out here. And with the lack of sunshine, it feels a little bit cool as those winds out of the north-northwest are moving 42 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, humidity at 79%, but eventually these clouds will be clearing out of the way. They, perhaps you heard them, brought some storms in the overnight hours and some showers that lingered into the early morning hours, but now it's just the clouds that'll eventually clear on out, and sunshine will then take the place And pretty much everyone across the province will enjoy that sunshine throughout the afternoon today, even the eastern border where we're still dealing with these clouds. But with that sunshine comes the warmer temperatures as well, and that'll be nice to feel, though it will still be a little bit breezy. Tomorrow could be even warmer yet with those clear conditions lasting overnight, and still plenty of sunshine tomorrow. Less of a breeze, warmer temperatures. Tomorrow we'll be feeling pretty good. And this little woodpecker spotted out in the St. Cloud area. Thanks to Sandra for sharing the photo with us. And keep the pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Wake up and win with CTV Your Morning and Manitoba Blue Cross. We can pay your bills with a massive $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is expense. Head to the contest page at ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter expense with your info for your chance to win the Your Morning $20,000 Pay Your Bills contest, brought to you by Manitoba Blue Cross, your local trusted health benefits provider. And tune in tomorrow for another code word. Good luck. Local Winnipeg musical icon Ron Paley is known for his big band and his impact on the city's jazz and music community. A special Ron Paley tribute concert is planned to celebrate the performer and composer's life and legacy here and around the world. And joining us now to tell us more about this special concert is another Winnipeg entertainment icon, Al Simmons. Good morning, Al.
Hi, Rochelle.
Hi, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, wonderful for you to help us out with this. Fill some seats.
Yeah, this is so exciting. Okay, so if people don't know who Ron Paley is, tell us who he is and the impact he's had on this community.
Well, I know Ron Paley as a big band leader of, and that's how I met him. I believe I met him first on a telethon. We were doing a telethon late at night, and I was one of the performers on it. And he would arrange tunes for us to come on and perform. And I got to know him afterwards, after that, and we did many shows together over the years.
And how do you think he's influenced you in your entertainment business or even in local music?
Well, he's so professional and such a genuinely nice guy. I've never heard him say a bad word about anybody. He's just a positive, uplifting soul, and it's so great we get to celebrate him while he's alive.
Yeah,
you know, none of us are getting any younger, and it's just wonderful that we get to celebrate him.
Okay, so this tribute concert is happening at the Burt.
Yeah.
Tell us what's happening.
Well, it's not only a celebration of Ron. We're going to be raising money to have set up a bursary or some funds for music students at University of Manitoba. Okay. And it'll be in his name, and it's going to be forever that there'll be a scholarship available. So that's what this is all about. And it's going to be a huge band, like normally like even 20 or more pieces, because there's so many players want to be part of it. And we're all donating our time to this because we love Ron so much. And the evening you can dance. It's going to be at the Burt Theatre, Burton Cummings Theatre. They're going to be dancing, but fabulous tunes from anywhere the 20s, 30s, right up to the present.
And what does Ron think of all this?
He's pretty thrilled that we're doing this for him. And he's going to conduct and play piano with all the tunes. I'm going to be singing Sam, You Made the Pants Too Long, along with him and the band. And it's to a chart that he wrote out the charts for all the players. It's going to be a fabulous evening.
It sounds like it.
Jennifer Hansen, like the stars, the performers that are going to be with him is incredible. And the people that worked with Ron over the years, Rob McConnell, Boss Brass, Mo Kaufman, up to Ariel Posen, who's one of the top guitar players in the world. all of these people have worked with Ron over the years, and
they're all going to be there.
They won't be there, but he's mentored all of these people.
That is amazing. What a guy. Okay, well, this is happening on May 23rd, Saturday, May 23rd at the Burton Cummings Theatre. If you want more information on how to get your hands on tickets or to support the cause, we have a link on our website. Thank you, Elle Simmons.
Hey, thanks for doing this.
Thank you. Here's a look outside now on St. Mary's Road. Things are slowly trickling in the downtown here, as you can see, and overall moving quite well. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
7 degrees outside this morning, but it is breezy and cloudy. Those heavy clouds look a little bit gloomy and ominous. They brought the rain last night and earlier this morning, but should now begin to clear. That wind, though, that's not going to let up much. In fact, it may even get stronger. At the moment, it's 42 kilometers per hour out of the north-northwest. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 79%. So yes, for now, it's still looking a little bit gloomy. Quite clear, though, off to the west, and that's what we'll be enjoying later today as all of these clouds and that last bit of precipitation continue to push off to the east. And as that happens, we'll all be then soaking up the sunshine and enjoying the really nice temperatures that come along with it today. Still might stay just shy of seasonal, with 19 degrees being a normal daytime high. We'll probably top out at about 17 today. But I mentioned that wind is going to be a nuisance once again, at times gusting to 60 kilometers per hour out of the northwest. That wind, though, shifting overnight, tapering off almost entirely. Just a light west wind expected as we drop down to 6 degrees. For tomorrow, a nice warm up to come, warmer than today and even slightly above seasonal, getting up to 24 degrees with south winds at about 20 kilometers per hour. Tomorrow could be the best of the week because by Thursday, still with the really nice temperatures, but the heavier clouds start to build up. And by Thursday night, some precipitation that could cool us down with some unfortunate timing because it looks like we'll be below seasonal all throughout May long weekend.
Thousands of union leaders, workers, and activists are gathering in Winnipeg this week. The Canadian Labour Congress opened its 31st triennial constitutional convention Monday, the first time it's been held here in Winnipeg in the past 40 years. From now through Friday, delegates will participate in panel discussions and hear from guest speakers on democracy, workers' rights, and the economy. Speakers include union and business leaders, politicians, and more.
This is when Canada's unions bring delegates together and we discuss the most important issues, and it really sets the tone of what we're going to prioritize over the next 3 years.
The Congress's executive vice president says much of the talk surrounds what's happening in the world, including tariffs, job security, and health care. The Canadian Labour Congress is Canada's largest labour organization and represents more than 3 million workers across the country. If you've ever thought of adding hotelier to your resume, here's your chance. The iconic Fort Garry Hotel is hitting the market. The Chateau-style 13-story building opened in 1913 by Grand Trunk Pacific Railway. It was designated as a National Historic Site in 1981. According to the listing on the Avison Young website, the property boasts over 60,000 square feet of meeting, spa, and fitness space and includes 236 suites and several restaurants.
Looking at an iconic asset like this, 100 years old, they're irreplaceable. And so it's interesting when you try and look at all the various components that drive revenue at an asset like this. No one's building them like this.
As for the price tag, that's yet to be determined, but rest assured it won't be cheap. Amid the trade war and fuel prices, some Canadians are choosing not to travel to the U.S. But as CTV's Mike Le Couture explains, there are signs some travelers are putting their elbows down.
Ottawa's Tulip Festival is a huge draw for tourists. These Montrealers used to take an annual trip to the New England coast, but since Canada-U.S. relations started to wilt, they're traveling domestically instead.
Stay in Canada and spend our money here, rather than encourage the American people who have this silly leader that they've got.
And it seems they're not alone. Researchers from the University of Toronto analyzed Canadian cell phone usage in the U.S. over a period of 2 years and found a median decline of 42%, more than the initial estimates of a 25% decrease. But that did include freight travel and Canadians who have to travel to the U.S. for work.
We think they're taking a lot more meetings at home in Canada on Zoom.
Researchers say it's even more apparent in some industries hit by the trade war.
You're seeing much less travel to places like Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's not a loss of tourist travel. That's a loss of trade-related travel related to the auto industry.
The new numbers from Statistics Canada show a slight uptick in cross-border traffic last month. In April, 1.8 million Canadians made return trips to the U.S. That's up 1.4% compared to the same month in 2025. It's the first time there's been an overall increase since December of 2024.
There will be those that will not travel to the U.S. no matter what, but I'm seeing many that had that attitude at the beginning are now softening and actually traveling now and going there also.
Despite that bump, Stats Canada numbers show when you compare April of this year to April 2024, before cross-border tensions reignited, travel is still down by 30%.
Here's what's happening now in traffic along Donald Street. Things are moving well over here as far as we could tell. And here's a look at your gas prices. In Winnipeg, the average is at $1.79. It's a small drop from yesterday. And the lowest price in the city is $1.48, found at Domo on McPhillip Street. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Today is Manitoba Day. It was on this date in the year 1870 that the Parliament of Canada passed the Manitoba Act, creating the new province. Manitoba formally entered Confederation as the 5th province on July 15th of that same year. Since then, May 12th has been officially celebrated as Manitoba Day. So we asked for our question of the day, what do you love most about Manitoba? Susan says it's beautiful. She lived here her whole life. For Wes, it's camping. Leslie loves that we have 4 seasons, but she really loves that we have so many great beaches to choose from. Craig shared the provincial parks we've seen to almost all of them, and the beauty of them is amazing. Honey Dill Sauce texted one viewer. Another viewer says world-class fishing. Cindy says, I love Manitoba summers if it ever gets here. Unc D shared, in Manitoba, I like to go fishing whenever I can. Marlene loves Manitoba parks, nature, and the good restaurants. Kathy loves our big skies, our multiculturalism, our music scene. The list is long. Today's loves Manitoba's vibrant, different cultures, its natural landscapes, northern lights, camping and fishing destinations, just to name a few. Facility loves the cold, and Phoebe loves all the activities that Manitoba has. Carol loves the sunsets at Grand Beach. She says Manitoba has so many beautiful beaches to visit and great places to hike. And Cheryl loves the beautiful buildings, great restaurants, and the beautiful parks. Thank you so much for your responses.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic, science-backed body contouring.
Let's go back now to Ainsley, who's live at the Alzheimer's Society of Manitoba. They have an upcoming walk, and people should take part. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Great day for a walk on May 30th. That's when it's taking place at Assiniboine Park, 10 a.m. Chelsea Bernhardt joins us now, and you are part of a team, I assume, Chelsea?
Yeah, we're part of a big team. It's Comforts of Home Care, so there's close to 20 to 40 of us that go out every year.
Wow, okay. And you're walking for Mom, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and Mom passed away?
She did.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about how important that is to you to be able to commemorate her life and honor her.
Yeah, it was a big thing for me to come out and support, the Alzheimer's Society with the IG Wealth Walk. They were very helpful in my early journey with my mom when she had dementia. So they had a support group. They had a lot of resources that they offered me, which really made such a difference in my journey with her. It was also really good for my kids to come out and see that other families and communities and individuals were going through the same thing. So it was a chance for them to see, like, we're not alone. We're not the only ones. There's other families going through it and celebrating each other.
Mm-hmm. And day of, paint a picture for us, the sense of community and warmness, given that you've all gone through such difficult times.
Yeah, the day of, it is a time to come out. There's something about numbers when you have a huge group of people gathering together. It's a time to celebrate. The energy is amazing. Mm-hmm. Everybody's, dancing to music. Everybody has their signs that they're holding up. And everyone really is just energized and sharing their stories with each other.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I asked you to, because I'm like, you're part of a team, right? Like, that's the best part of it. That's the best part, to be able to experience that with others and a shared experience. Before we're out of time here, tell our audience why they should participate, or why they should even call Alzheimer's Society of Manitoba if they're going through this now.
I think with people that are facing dementia and that there's a lot of resources and help that you probably don't know is out there. So it's good to reach out to the Alzheimer's Society to get more input on that. I also say it's a time, even though if you're not experiencing dementia or Alzheimer's in your personal life, eventually you're going to meet a colleague, you're going to meet a friend, you're going to meet someone that is experiencing it. So it's a good time to come out to support the walk, to join the Alzheimer's Society and just get educated and just be there, because eventually you are going to be supporting somebody.
Thank you so much. May 30th is when this is happening, 10 a.m. And you know what? If you want to donate from home too, head to a link on our website.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go to the rooftop now. It's going to be a good day to go outside for a walk, eventually when the sun pops.
Eventually the sun will come out, but we're not going to lose these winds, unfortunately. They're likely to be a nuisance throughout the day today. And until we start to see some of that sunshine, there's a cool bite from those winds. 7 degrees, though, is technically above seasonal. 5 would be a normal low. But yeah, it's still looking pretty gloomy out here as those winds gust to 42 kilometers per hour out of the north-northwest. The pressure rising, humidity sitting at 79%, and these clouds are lingering all along the eastern border. It's not just here in the south, right up into the northeast. And that's still the band that could see some scattered precipitation this morning before it eventually all clears further to the east and sunshine takes its place. But that might take some time here in the eastern side of the province, whereas southwestern Manitoba, well, all of western Manitoba, right up into the north, you're enjoying those clearer conditions from the get-go. Now, temperatures will be close to seasonal, high teens, 19, that would be a normal daytime high. We might top out at about 17 today, but get close to those numbers. Tomorrow, we could surpass those numbers, pushing up into the mid-20s, and we'll do that with plenty more sunshine and less in the way of a wind. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
For many families, a new chance at having children means turning to fertility treatments. In New Brunswick, the demand has more than doubled since the province announced it would cover the first round. It's a boost for hope at a time when Canada's birth rate drops to a record low. CTV's Laura Brown reports.
This is 6-month-old Oliver. Bright-eyed and so very cute, he's Meredith Martel's success story.
The second they passed him to me, I lost it. I was crying. My mom was with me. We were both in tears. It's just the best feeling.
At 35, Martel was single, but really wanted to have a child. She began the fertility process only to find out she had stage 4 endometriosis. 6 rounds of IVF went unsuccessful, so she switched to donor eggs. She got 1 good embryo, and that's all she needed. The whole process took 5 years and over $100,000 for Martel, who of course says it was all worth it. She did get her last round covered by New Brunswick's fertility reimbursement program.
It was a huge blessing, for sure.
That year-old program covers up to $20,000 for 1 cycle of IVF or $10,000 for the cost of intrauterine insemination. Premier Susan Holt revealed the number of families who've sought treatment has more than doubled since that program was announced.
And I can't tell you how much I love receiving messages from the families that have been able to complete their family.
It's an investment in our population.
New data released by Statistics Canada found the country's fertility rate has hit a record low at 1.25 children per woman. Dr. Nicholas Leyland hopes more Canadians see fertility as a serious healthcare issue.
All across Canada, we have limitations in terms of providers. So obstetrician gynecologists and primary care providers to be able to see these patients and assess them and then refer them. So there's a significant wait time.
Martel is grateful for the financial support, but also hopes someday families won't have to spend quite as much as she did.
Fertility care is health care. It should be covered.
Laura Brown, CTV News, Moncton.
The ex-commander of 17 Wing here in Winnipeg has just written a new children's science fiction book. Colonel Joël Roy has just published Magsy and the Mars Academy, an adventure about space and good versus evil. And joining us now is retired colonel and the author of Magsy and the Mars Academy, Joël Roy. Good morning, Joël.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. How did you go from colonel to author?
It required a lot of dedication, so my training helped a lot. Discipline. It takes a lot of discipline to go from an idea to finish a book. Over a year.
It took you over a year, and it was your wife's idea to get you started.
Yes, it was -30, cold January, dark. The airplanes that I teach on were all grounded because of the cold.
Yeah.
My wife looked at me sitting at the table with a coffee. And she said, you know, the story you talk about, why don't you write it?
Yeah.
So I did.
Okay, so tell us about what's happening in Magsy and the Mars Academy. Who's Magsy?
Well, Magsy is one of the young students. The story is set 66 million years in our past.
Okay.
When Mars was much like Earth is today. So the two civilizations, including one from Europa, a moon of Jupiter, send their young children to Mars, to a school on Mars to study, to learn, to work together. So the book is a story about collaboration. It's a story about trust across differences, about what young people might be able to accomplish if they stop seeing each other as a threat. There is no typical chosen hero or evil villain. It's a cast of young people navigating the world that they, with all its inherited conflicts and tensions.
So obviously flight has always been an interest of yours, but this is a different kind of flight. This is space travel. So was that always something that you were interested in?
Absolutely. As a fighter pilot, I was always interested in that as a kid. And for me, the book is a way to try and transmit that passion as well. Readers will join the students on their first journey into space, on their first time on Mars, on their first meeting of an alien race.
That's cool.
There's a lot of emotions in the book.
Okay, so this is geared for kids between the ages of what to what?
It's 9 to 14 was the target audience when I wrote the book, but there's many reviews from people of all ages, and depending on how you like to read a book, like the comments have been quite positive. The people have mostly commented on characters, and they said that the characters followed them home. They couldn't stop thinking about what was going to happen next.
Really?
As I wrote the book, there's a reader that was privileged to read it as I wrote it.
Yeah.
And she wrote back to me. She said, "You better not have killed them."
So they got really invested in the characters, which is fascinating.
Yes.
What's really cool as well is obviously Magsy and the Mars Academy is available in all bookstores right now, but what's great is it's also available in French starting today.
Today, of all days, it's a coincidence, yes, and I can perhaps let a little secret out.
Ooh.
Last Friday, a local library, À la Page, confirmed that they would love to have the book in store.
Okay.
Right here.
And of course, that's in St. Boniface as well.
Boniface, in French.
That is amazing. Well,
yes.
Congratulations on this book. And again, it's available at all bookstores right now. Magsy and the Mars Academy, written by Joël Roy. Thank you, Joël.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course.
Oh, and congratulations. What a great read. Okay, outside this morning, some heavier clouds hang over us. It's 7 degrees, but it seems cool, all due to that wind gusting to 42 kilometers per hour out of the northwest. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 79%. I shouldn't even say it's gusting. That is a sustained 42K wind. It could at times be gusting to 60 kilometers per hour. So that wind will be a factor once again today. And still lingering the heavier clouds. There was some precipitation earlier this morning. Perhaps you heard the storms last night. That is all clearing off to the east, and those clear, sunny conditions will then take its place. So we will see more sunshine, a little more warmth too, up to 17 degrees, but 19 is seasonal. However, the next couple of days surpassing those seasonal values with some heavier clouds building up by Thursday, showers by Thursday night, and that precipitation to cool us down, unfortunately timed out for May long weekend. So it will be a little bit cloudy at times, some sunshine still on Saturday, but those cool temperatures and perhaps some precipitation throughout this coming May long. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Before we say goodbye, we're going to show you some fun video. A kangaroo in Australia has just been given a royal new name. The Prince and Princess of Wales and their children named this eastern grey kangaroo at the Australia Zoo. They chose Cutch, which is Welsh for cuddle. Conservationist Robert Irwin, the son of Steve Irwin, made the announcement, saying it's the perfect name for a joey kangaroo, as they love to cuddle up in their mother's pouches. Little face. Now to a sneaky toddler. Was hiding his toys in the vent so he didn't have to share with his baby brother. The parents didn't even know the vent opened like this. Well, he knows when to pull them out, apparently.
Yeah, when the cameras are rolling, that's probably not the best time to pull it out.
His brother's nowhere around either. And then finally, what do you do when you go thrifting and stumble on a piece of your family history? This lady was gifted her childhood portrait after her sister found it at the thrift store. Apparently their grandma had donated it, so she decided to buy it and then gift it to her sister for Mother's Day. That's funny.
That is good.
What are the chances of stumbling
At least
across
it's not the gift that you gave to someone.
That does it for us. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.